This is Community Formation, a podcast made by and for the Twilight Imperium community. Oh, look at that puppy. Look at the baby. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't he a sweetie?
What a perfect time to start recording, dude.
Yeah, I know, man.
Literally just all up on you.
It's like he's my little shadow, bud.
Yeah.
He's my little shadow. Yeah, you may be asking yourself, why does this almost 1-year-old pit bull, December 18th, by the way, for those of you sending taco-based gifts to my dog, Choco Tacos.
Of course.
He's not wearing a collar. And I promise I'm not the kind of person to just not have one on him.
Oh, no, you told me the story of what happened to that.
Yeah, just decided to get a little bit of poop up on there. And,
yep.
I had to clean that up, and I got to get him a little bath after this.
Isn't that just incredible how that happens? Pets really just do get into the most, ridiculous situations.
I don't even know how that happened.
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is they just, do stuff that is so ludicrous where it's what was even the logistical process here?
No, really. And it's we're rolling, because I live alone, and he can escape from his crate. He pulls the front of it off and jumps out. So I ended up just taking my spare room and turning it into his room to destroy. And he poops in there. I'm like, does he just get up in there? But I come home and I go to scratch him under his chin. I'm like,
Wasn't planning on that.
I was not, that was not the surprise I was looking for. But that's okay. He's a good boy. He wandered off. He'll probably bark at me for not paying attention to him, but. Yeah. I'm used to that too, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I will make it easy on Chaco tonight because we have only just a short little kind of intro bit. We ended up getting a lot of material for the episode today, and I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So what are we doing, man? What's going on today? Can you tell me?
Yeah, so the big thing is actually we got a double header for our speaker segment. We're talking disco, Discordant Stars, not Disco Elysium, although we will talk about that if you want to.
It's disco, baby.
That's all. Listen, that's not very disco of you to not talk about Disco Elysium, quite frankly. But we have TacticBlue on. What do we call him?
He's Project Daddy.
Project Daddy. He's Project Daddy for Discordant Stars, the fan-made TI expansion that has, I believe, 34 factions. Is it 34 or is it 27?
If you're counting DS Plus, then it is 34 because it was 24 to start and then 10 in DS Plus.
Yeah, so 34 factions, and he was kind of, we dive into it with him a little bit, but spoiler alert. He may not have created all of the factions, but he had his hands kind of in guiding all of it. And it's a very cool overarching interview. Very cool guy. Didn't really know a lot about him. Love to hang out and talk to him again, like every single one of our guests, of course. And then we also, just to kind of get a little finer view on that, had a brief interview with Andcat about the crab people.
Yes.
And we touched on Discordant Stars a little bit in that one as well. And I unfortunately had to leave in the middle of the interview because I was a sleepy boy. I was a real sleepy boy because you West Coasters in that 3-hour time difference. I tell you what.
Yeah, well, also we were going hard. We really we should never do a double header interview like that again because we were kind of drinking our way through it and just kind of getting a little fucked up. So by the time we were midway through with Andcat, it was just oh man, we are partying right now.
Yeah,
we are
a little bit of that action,
partying, dog. Yeah.
It's kind of bad when you have to go on a beer run like I did in between.
Yeah.
In between.
I got to re-up here, man. Can't go into this one dry.
You got to have a sober driver is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man, this dog, he is the best.
He is such a silly boy. He just wants to party and bullshit and dance. Gosh, yeah, I could watch this forever.
But yeah, then obviously we're going to talk tournament a little more low key. We're kind of in the doldrums of it all. Those losers who can't even win a game are still playing. I'm one of them. So there's that going on. We're going to do a little bit of the shout out in the Articles of War section. And then, of course, Brassbird's Mega Meme Center.
Yeah.
But, as always, do a little life update segment. Any big excitement going on in the world of the Brassbird besides those two lovely kitties that are sharing a spot right behind you right now?
Yeah, it's so cute, isn't it? They're hugging.
Oh my God,
they're
Jesus Christ.
hugging. Oh my God. I don't have a whole lot to report, honestly. It's just like I don't know. It's just been kind of been some bullshit. I had this surgery done, and it's like it's too long of a story, and I don't want to get into it. But essentially, I was just like in bed for a good couple of weeks, just like really.
Man,
really
that sounds amazing right now compared to what
I've. Dude, it kind of sucked, bro. It
dude.
Sucked, bro.
Yeah,
but
I feel that.
I'm finally back at this point where I'm like getting around and like kind of got all my mobility back, more or less, living much more a normal life right now. So got to be stoked for that. Got to be thankful for that.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the only thing with me is I caught COVID. Laid around for a week. It was not the best. Not gonna lie to you, did not feel great, but did play a lot of Arkham Horror and RimWorld. So
word.
There was that to gain, and all of that, and I love it. I'm glad things have settled down for me. It's been a weird year, a great year, but marathon training and owning a puppy have consumed my life. But I am, playing some IRL TI tomorrow. Pretty pumped for that. It's going to be a 4-player game. Carnal and Truth are going to be there in the Louisville crowd. And then Cody tagged me on a thing. There's this guy who's asking me when lives near Louisville, Kentucky. And they're like, do you have a group? And I'm like, well, group's kind of a loose word when a bunch of dudes in their 30s meet up like twice a year at most to play TI. But I mean,
hey, to be honest, for a lot of TI groups, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, like my group didn't with the trophy didn't even meet up this year, but I think other people really just don't. I'm way more into the game than them, and I don't think they love playing with me, which I totally get. But I don't think they've caught on that I like.
Yeah, I just
sit down at those games and just kind of like come up with my own little story that I want to tell. At this point, it's not about winning, but
sure.
Yeah, another game, another day. But that's fair. Man. Honestly, not a lot of shit talking. It is like after midnight for me on a Friday. This is the most random time, but I got the energy, I got the urge, and we got to get that sweet, sweet content out there for all those people who love watching our show. Which, by the way, thankful. We don't know why you do. Honestly, we're just two jackasses who like talk about a board game.
They're here for Chaco, dude. Obviously.
I mean, shit, that's why it actually keeps me in bed in the morning. It's the opposite of getting out.
He's the reason I stay in bed.
Well, you're the reason I get out of bed. We can talk about that some other time.
I know, obviously. So, let's go ahead and let's just kick it off, man. Let's just kick it off. Let's just go in.
Dive right in.
Let's just dive in to Articles of War. Where
we can do that.
Where are we at in the tournament? Well, we're over halfway done with the qualifier round. And man, I've seen shit going down, man. It's been a slog. It has been a slog. Our boy Brian had like 8 attempts total. Finally made it through.
Yep.
Trying to think of other like notable qualifier. Another beautiful person, Alice, nailed it on the first try.
Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, not shocked at all, but I had this funny moment where it's like earlier today, I was just like scrolling through and then I saw like the voice channel and I was like, oh, there's 6 people and Alice is in there. And immediately I was just like, oh, these poor motherfuckers. They don't know what's going to hit them. Like they have no idea. Then sure enough, like hours later, I'm on tournament spoilers and it's like, congratulations, Alice. Like, fucking
I just think the beauty of like Alice is that they only like very limited interaction with the extended community. So like, obviously like for us idiots who are way too into this know who they are. But this person sits down, they're a quick talker, they're promising you the world, but turns out they know the world a little better than you do and what really comes out of that. Yeah. So for sure. yeah, then Alice got the W. I know Drago's in a game right now.
Oh, tight.
Ongoing right now. I don't know what's going on. It's not being streamed.
Drago's number one.
Drago is honest to God
Drago,
number one.
Number one. Foam finger. That's what this is all about. This is a foam finger that says Drago Thaxton on it.
He best come out with that dub. I'm thinking I'm gonna try for my game a week from Sunday if I'm not too hungover.
Okay.
That's gonna be like I'm gonna put it on the sketch.
Yeah.
Tell them I'm in, and then back out at the last minute like I always do because I'm a bit of a flakester these days.
Tight, for sure.
I can't help it that my dog. I'm throwing a birthday party for my dog. No one can judge me for getting drunk at that. I mean,
no.
It's my dog's first birthday.
Yeah,
it only happens once.
No, exactly. I mean, I say you should just do the game even if you are hungover.
I mean, honestly, I'd probably talk less, which would make me win.
I mean, maybe that's just like the secret, power is to just be like hungover and like you don't care about winning.
Yeah.
So then you just find your way to winning because you don't care. I don't know.
I mean, my philosophy on winning tournament games is just having the other people let me win, not actually actively try to win. So, okay. Permission's important. But
I think there's
here you gotta, as someone who has won an air qualifier, you also won your first round of the ASIC tournament. I know you want to talk a little bit about that.
I was going to talk about the ASIC tournament. This is like bending things a little bit because it's supposed to be like SCPT or whatever, but it's like async is just like, the adjacent kind of like
thing.
Man,
this is community formation, not SCPT formation. Come on, man.
But yeah, the async tournament is like pretty much, I don't know, round about the same like pace as far as like wrapping up its first round. Yeah, I think there's like probably like a dozen or less games at this point. Like maybe it's like 10 games that are still wrapping up in their final rounds. But yeah, I won my game in kind of a dirty little way. It was like it was a little dirty kind of game. But here's what it was, is that it was the double guac. Like this situation will like go down in history. And I think multiple memes were made about it. But it was like first agenda phase that we had. So we're like round, I don't think it was round one. Maybe it was even round one. It was round one or round two, whatever. But the first agenda phase that we had, Mutiny and Seed of an Empire both happened. And it just worked out where we voted in such a way and gave supports around in such a way where it's like everybody got both points.
Yeah.
So everyone at the table got double guac. It was ridiculous. And we just kind of did it like without really thinking about it. And then after the fact, like it just like slowly dawned on all of us of like, oh man, like this game's actually like fucked up now. Like we really fucked this game up. Like so I'm playing Mahawked, and I told the table like in pretty clear terms, I was like, the fact that we did this, what this means is that like, I mean, we've lost for certain a whole round on this game.
Yeah.
And because we lost a whole round, that means that we need to start having like win slay discussions like right now, pretty much. Like
yeah.
And it didn't quite happen that way. Like I made it sound like a more like dramatic thing than it actually was. But where it got a little dirty for me is that I'm not really much of like a gambit player necessarily, like I'm not really the person that goes and like
you're too paranoid for that, man.
Yeah, I am, but I like kind of tried it this time, and it was just like really funny how it worked out because I had goofed with my tokens or whatever, and it's like I was trying to score mechs on 4 planets, and I realized like, oh man, I'm actually like 1 token short from being able to score the secret, and since I can't score the secret, that kind of like tanks my whole thing because this game's going to be over like round 4, like definitely. So I end up asking my neighbor, who's this ghost player, by the way, Macic Mike, I think that's how we're pronouncing it. Absolute gentleman in this whole process in the face of my absolute betrayal of them. Absolute
Is this worse than when you betrayed Bort?
I mean, it was less emotional because obviously, like betraying Bort was an extremely emotional, fucking fucked up thing that happened.
I've had to do it too, man.
But this was like a very professional backstab. You know, like I made it as clean as I could. You know, and it's like
no emotion.
Yeah, and
nothing personnel, kid.
No, it was definitely like nothing personal, and I told him like, please don't let this like be a thing where you just don't trust anyone ever again, because you know, in another world, like I would have followed through with this non-binding. But I'm getting
a little too close to like my personal life right now.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
How I feel about this.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the deal that I made with this guy is like, he's got tons of tokens. And I'm like 1 token short, but I've got Counterstroke in my hand. So I can set up this situation where I was like, yo, dude, like I need a solid, can we do some kind of like wacky, like secret swapping, non-binding thing? If you Counterstroke me in my home system after I get this build off, that will allow me to do what I need to do. And then like, what can I do for you next round? So then that's when he says, well, there is something that you could do to help me out, actually. I need to destroy a greatest ship. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. That's great. That's great. And then I'm looking at my hand and it says, unveil flagship. And I was like, okay, I think I can help you out. This is the worst
trade deal in the history of trade deals possibly ever.
It really is. It really is. So we make this deal. And I have to like just play it so cool. And I really try and do like everything I can to make it look like, yes, I am going to follow through. And like I do build the flagship. And then I tell him like, how about you stage your ships like over here? And then that'll make it easier for me to like whatever. But then obviously it's like, all I need to do is just send the whole fleet instead of just sending the flagship. And then the other piece of the puzzle that came in is that I had like a status phase to try and like lock up the game, and then I drew another secret just because I had the token, obviously, and then I get last to pass, and it was like, this game is like even more locked up. Like I had it. I was like going to have it on the 3 in the status phase, and now it's just like there's literally nothing that they can do to stop me winning here, you know? And it just all came down to just like betraying the non-binding and stabbing this poor fool in the back. And I tried to be as supportive as I could throughout the whole process. It'd just be like, look,
it's
man,
like it's not you, it's me speech. You exactly.
It's like it's nothing about you. It's not that you made like the worst deal ever.
I just need to work on myself to 10 BP.
Yeah, you know? Because like here's the thing is that if I had any other secret in hand that was like a status phase, or like literally just like if I had anything other than unveil,
you could have just given him false hope and then won in status because you drew last to pass plus status phase.
Secret, you know, or it would just like actually be like enough of a reason to just be like, well, you know, I will follow through with this because it's like whatever. I'll find another way to like try and work on my secrets.
Yeah, because I mean, it was going to be a 1-to-1 secret swap, the 4 max for the, you know, destroy greatest.
Exactly. But then,
then you're like, well, shit, I got a 2-for here.
So it really was a moment where it was just like the fucking 7th player instantly rewarded me, you know.
And thank God he didn't have a skilled retreat.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, like that's
like,
all. That's always the
you
fucking
didn't roll
problem.
Horribly.
Well, that's why I wanted him to stage stuff directly adjacent to me. It didn't work out like that, but I told him like, hey man, if you want to throw like all the stuff in this system, because then I would just use benediction, and then there's nothing you can do about benediction.
So
like that was like the even slyer thing where it's like I'm trying to sell it as like, oh, this will make it even easier on the both of us.
Yeah.
You know,
Not even to use a token. You know, benediction's going to be whatever anyways. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. So it was just like, you know, it was just luck. You know, better to be lucky than good. And, you know,
the way I live my life.
Yeah. And I only got put into that situation because of this fucked up thing we did where we gave the entire table to Guac. You know?
Listen, I'm always going to be for that just because it makes the game shorter. And it's not that I don't love playing the game, but I hate the end game because it slows everything down. Anyways. And I mean, it makes sense that it slows everything down. And I don't think that's a flaw in the game necessarily, but it's just a reality.
Just the way it is.
Twilight Imperium. Yeah. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, man, any other good shout outs in the tournament for some winners here?
Well, I actually wanted to give a shout out to BLT.
Oh,
because Homeboy, while we're talking about async stuff, like Homeboy up and went and made his own show.
Hell yeah.
Fucking, it's like a whole fucking thing. Like, and why not have like a bazillion fucking podcasts where we're all talking about this shit is what I'm fucking saying. But yeah, he wanted to focus entirely on like the async world and like providing something that was for that community, because guess what? It's getting up to the point where it's like thousands of people are playing it async. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, I haven't checked the numbers myself, but
I mean, there's 3 servers, man.
But there's 3 servers, exactly.
Yeah, I have a whole folder. I actually made a folder of just async servers.
Actually, that's a good point. Like, I didn't even think about doing that.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
No, totally. But yeah, so it's just like
kitties.
Aren't they sweet?
Oh my god. Sorry.
Ridiculous. But yeah, so it's getting to that point where there's like so much of a need for like a more specialized kind of take there. And BLT's just like started from like not really having any experience or knowledge about this stuff. And I told them like, whatever, like I use this kind of equipment, and you know, like the editing is like stuff that you can just use like open source software for if you really want, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, he's just like up and going, getting a couple of guests on there. I really like his ideas for like what he's doing for segments and stuff. Like it's a cool show, and it's really bite-sized is what I like about it.
No, that's great. Yeah, you were saying it's like 20, 30-minute episodes, which is really nice for like commutes and everything like this. Our long form shit, I don't know why people even watch us, honestly. It's a real snooze fest. Absolute trash television. I think we're more of a guilty pleasure pod than something you watch for substance. You know, we're kind of like The Bachelor in that way.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I like that comparison.
So, hey, by the way, 2 eligible bachelors right here. No, I have a girlfriend. Unless you single?
Just kidding. Unless. Yeah. Do you want to move on to your favorite part of the show already, or what?
I think my favorite, just mine though. No one else is allowed to like this segment. Actually,
yeah, I mean, but it's just your favorite.
That is actually the truth, though.
That is true.
No, yeah. Hit me with that. Inject this straight into my veins, quite frankly.
Yes, it's time for Brassbird's Mega Meme Center. You know it. We're just going to go dive straight in. Meme number 1. I know that this one is from Wecker. We're gonna keep this one up there for a little while because there's kind of a lot to absorb here, a lot to analyze, a lot to take in. But it is indeed a Pokemon type TI4 crossover that is pretty exhaustive. There's even the Pokemon types here that I didn't even realize existed.
No, he made up some of them.
Oh, really? Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Listen, there was something I was real into. It was competitive Pokemon. I was never any Stads, by the way. Savant like it this, as well as Kate Ruthless.
Oh, really?
And Prepara, of course. Very, very strong competitive Pokemon players. But
wow.
I can tell you that Sand, Enigma, Chaos, Order, Heart, Cyber, Light, all that don't exist.
Oh, but
in that standard framework, the non-squares, very much real.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do to get the meme working. But this one, I told Wecker was an instant guac. is what I said. This one was instant guac. It like took me absolutely no time at all to fucking slap the guac on this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because fucking people love their Pokemon.
It's honestly like crack. I don't even know how to explain the feedback loop on it. Nostalgia carries it. The interactivity carries it. 100% high grade meme. Wonderful effort, and it's just niche enough, but not niche. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really doing the job, and it's doing it straight up. I got to ask, which one is your favorite here?
My favorite? I mean, let me scroll back to it. I gotta. Oh my gosh! Man. I mean, honestly, Dragon type Cabal, I like that. I didn't think about them as Dragon type, but it fits.
It fits. It fits.
I like that a lot. I mean, Dragon's got to be the favorite type, like rolling back to like Gen 1, anyways.
Oh sure.
For myself, yeah. Who doesn't like a good dragon?
I love it. I also love how the Mahawks are a fairy type. There's something about that. They're just like so dainty and magical, and and not evil in any way whatsoever. They're fairies, okay?
Well, fairies are actually more of the tricksters in the Pokemon universe. Like Grimmsnarl is a real big demonic ugly boy who's a fairy type, and he's one of the mainstays in competitive. So
wow. Okay.
Here we are. Mahawk actually kind of fits that, man. They're kind of the tricksters. You're going in, you think it's your friend. Nope, Mahawk.
I'm learning so much. While we're talking about Pokemon, I got to give a shout out to Quantum Octopus, who, as I understand, was the one who got to drink the Sippin' Cream for the first time.
He did. He was with me hanging out. It was a good time. Went and got some ramen.
Oh, that's tight.
Oh yeah,
I'm not jealous. But I gotta say,
he should be, honestly. He even approached me about it. Didn't even know he was in town. It was awesome.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I gotta say, Quantum is incredible with the meme game for Pokemon specifically. So we have we have the Pokemon channel on our server, and I go in there because it's like I've got like a job to do with like pinning memes and stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's what we keep you around for.
I go in and I don't understand 95% of these Pokemon memes because they're all competitive Pokemon scene specific memes. And a lot of it's just the specific nomenclature that I don't understand. But I pin that shit and I laugh at that shit. But I don't really get it. Okay, that's the clarification that I have to make.
Oh yeah, no, I was looking at these bad Magic the Gathering card combinations. I had no idea what was going on, but I was chuckling so hard at it earlier tonight. So I totally get the vibe on that one.
Something about that just transcends. It just transcends. Yeah.
All right.
Let's move on to meme number 2.
Oh my god, this looks so good.
Let's do it. Let's see. Which one is it?
This looks so good.
So this is Ziran. I'm not sure, but it's the. Yeah, no, it's he's been a member of the community for a while. I see him a lot on the politics channel, which honestly I shouldn't go on the politics channel anymore. But
I only go on there to flirt with people.
Yeah,
that's all I do.
I'm drawn to the channel like a moth to flame. Is the way it feels. Yeah,
I don't read content, but I'll see a little notification of EJ, Brian, or Teddy. Or someone I know really well, and I go on there and just say something kind of seductive, and then don't respond to anything else. That's all I ever do on there. It's actually hilarious.
Yeah. But this meme really felt the need to bring this onto the Mega Meme Center because it's actually an old classic meme. This was I don't know if it was Meme Town or if it was even earlier than Meme Town, or I don't know. Meme Town was pretty long lived. But they reposted it onto Meme City, and they were kind of self-conscious about the fact that it was a repost. But I was like, oh no, this is perfect because then I can put guac on it.
A good meme never dies. Okay?
Exactly.
That's all I'm going to say. Repost your hearts away. No one's ever going to judge you for reposting. And if people do judge you for reposting, tell them to fuck off. Someone's probably seen that for the first time anyways.
Exactly. And this one, I don't know. There's just something that's evergreen about it. This one truly will never die. It will never lose relevance. It will be always true, always forever.
Yeah.
And it's just such a perfect template for the idea because it's like, yeah, Sardak like really truly sucked in base game, but then in PMK,
well, now they just suck with more steps.
Exactly, but the thing is that they're cool when they suck. They're they're cool. Yeah, I'm telling you,
every time I've
dude.
played them, I have just not had fun.
I'm
not even a little bit.
They're cool. They're like literally like the way that like Gamma Mama works.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah, the way that Gamma Mama works is like you're doing a fucking kickflip. You know what I mean? You're like, look at this bitch, and you're just like,
look what I can do.
Yeah, you fucking like commit, infiltrate from adjacent systems, and then you're all like cool and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And but then it's like, yeah, it's still,
you know what Gamma Mama does is make my hawk better.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I had Gamma Mama on the Mahawk game I was just telling you about, which actually made a huge difference in like what I was trying to do. You know, like
yeah.
So
whoa.
Yeah. I'm not upset about that.
Good faction got better because a shitty faction has something cool. Shocking.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, have to give it up for Zyran. Or Ziran, you know, I'm not sure how to say that one, but
honestly, our boy Z,
yeah,
not too many of those floating around out there. They'll know who we're talking about.
Yeah, this one amazing. Happy to have it here.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna move on to meme number 3.
Oh man!
So this is Bam Bam,
my homeboy,
on the obligatory memes channel, and there was a bit of a caption where it was like, you know, the face when you're getting into async for the first time or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the secret behind all of it? Oh, it's all Discord pings. Always has been. And I got to tell you, I mostly threw this one up because it's also like a chance to talk about my son is also named Bort. Obviously, right?
Oh, yeah. The ping father?
He's
or ping
not.
Daddy?
So the thing is that he's not up to this many. But give him time.
I mean, he's not far from it. Not even joking. Like, he's closer than you think to that number. That's all we're gonna say.
I won't spoil it. I will not say how many pings the man has.
Honestly, if you ping him about his pings, maybe he'll tell you about it. Maybe ping Bort, see what happens. Get a little recursive loop going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, he's famous for racking up the pings, but I am pleased that whenever I post to the meme channel that is named after him and I ping him, usually he'll check it, you know, like he'll check it and he'll have a comment for something, and you know, like he's literally just like so positive and supportive. Like he'll just like say like just like the simplest response to whatever, and he's like, "Oh man, that's awesome." But you feel it. You feel it.
Just to circle back to general life advice, it takes 8 seconds to send a text message. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like someone's responded means they took those 8 seconds to respond to you. And that's all I got to say about exactly that concept, you know? So if someone ain't responding to you, there's no one who's too fucking busy to fucking respond to you, friends. I'm just going to tell you that right now. This ain't just dating. This is your mom. It's your boy Brassbird over there. That's all I got to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. No,
gotta bring yourself up. You're worth it, kings and queens. Sure, there's like 3 females who watch this show.
Kings and queens. Yeah. No, for real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So appreciated this one from Bam Bam. It gave me a good little chuckle. Mm-hmm. Happy to round it out with this one.
For sure.
Moving on to meme number 4. Oh yeah. No, this one is great.
God, this one hits the nail on the fucking head.
Yep.
It really does.
It's very elegant. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Fled Unicycle, and I think this is on Old Man Memes.
It was Old Man Memes. Yeah.
It was Old Man Memes.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great template. Like, I love the fucking crying guy in the middle, and then it goes to the Jedi. Like, it's like it's so funny. And just like, and it's also just so true. Like, it really does hit the nail on the head where you have a journey in your TI career where you're just like, oh, it's so easy. Like, you were just fucking taking planets and like it's actually kind of boring or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you realize like, no, it's just so fucking so ridiculous. Like your game,
I have to score. I have to talk to all these people.
You have to score.
This. Like,
you need timings to work out. Like, how are you going to work out the puzzle like between all these different people so everyone is like getting what they need, but you're also getting what you need out of it, and it can like make or break your game.
Yeah,
can make or break your game.
Really,
it's so
ridiculous. Basic, man. It's very frustrating because you feel behind after round one. You're scrambling. Yeah. But spoiler alert, this is when you transcend. When you're like, round one's easy. You're like, so what if I'm behind? I'm going to use this and milk at the tea to other people's. Guys, I'm behind. Come on. You got to let me take. Got to let me get that Imperial point. I'm behind.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I know
what I'm Sardak. Give me this good deal. You know I can't fucking do anything with it.
Give me your alliance for free. Come on, man. Come on. Be cool.
Yeah,
Be cool.
On. Yeah, exactly. Listen, whining works. Why do you think people do it?
Yeah.
Whining works. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, so this one's great. It's elegant, like I said. Love it. Absolutely love this one. Would love to see more treatments of this template applied to Fire Imperium is what I like to see.
Oh, for sure. But we should move on to this next one because I don't get it.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what's going on with this one is that it's not TI related.
Okay.
So that's what's up with this one.
Okay.
So Brian posted this, and I think he posted this onto the Meg Meme Center just because he knew that I love this so much as a huge Star Trek.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm catching it.
Yeah. Yep. And I've been rewatching these series lately, just totally just like diving headfirst into like digging through all the 90s amazingness. And this is from the images are from a very famous episode called Darmok. And essentially what's going on with the plot is that Picard gets kind of trapped on this planet with a captain of an opposing ship. And it's like these two people who don't understand each other at all. And spoiler alert, what's going on is that the alien species, they're saying words that Picard can understand, but the syntax doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because the way that their language is constructed is that they talk in metaphor.
Okay.
So like, one of the famous lines is like, Shaka, when the walls fell. So it's like, that's supposed to be like an expression of like, oh man, that sucks. Like this is a huge failure or something. Because like in their history, there was this famous story about this guy named Shaka and like his walls fell and it was not a good situation. So it's like a play on the entire plot of this episode, but then it's like a joke about memes and how it's like, oh wait, hold on, this guy is speaking in memes? Anime man pointing to a butterfly? Man behind tree rubbing hands.
Okay.
So it's like it's a very specific meme just because it's like you have to have seen this episode to like really appreciate it. But once you really get it, it hits hard, man. Oh, this one hits so hard, yo.
I have to make a very egregious admission here. I've actually never seen an episode of Star Trek.
You're missing out, son.
Yeah.
You're missing out.
I probably am, man. I should probably just stop watching all these stupid isekais that show up in my world and just fucking watch some actual good fucking television.
I only watch anime.
Like, how am I gonna know what happens to this person who was turned into a vending machine if I don't watch it? You know what I mean?
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, you can only sell so much cup ramen. That's all I gotta say.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know, come to it in your own time. But, if you ever, I'd highly recommend The Next Generation as like the one to dive into. Like, fucking drop in like 2-3 seasons in or whatever. That's when it like really starts getting good. And then when you see Darmok, remember it's like, oh yeah, this is the one.
Oh,
baby.
and then I'll just have this meme, just stare at it and just have a hearty chuckle to myself, a nice sensible chuckle.
Exactly.
It's one of my favorite memes ever is the guy reading, or GIFs ever is the guy reading a thing that says sensible chuckle. Anyways.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm cheating a little bit, throwing something in here that's like not a Brian original, and it's also not a TI meme, but I don't know. Just kind of felt right.
Well, it's kind of your show. Right. Honestly, your segment. So
do whatever I want. That's true. It's true.
We need like a Proxy Pasta segment or something. People send me copy pastas and I read them.
Hey,
anyways,
there you go. That's
that seems like work.
No, I like it.
I like that one I posted about Mantis. Anyways.
Oh, that was perfect.
Are they all about Mantis though? Like,
how does it help him win? That's my question.
Oh man,
so the bonus meme that I've selected for you. It's from me. It's a gift from me to you.
It's too relatable, man.
Yeah,
too relatable.
I know this is one of those where it's like memes have been made about this one before, so it's like a bit iterative,
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to whip this out because it happened to Bam Bam in the 7-player game that we got going on right now. Poor guy. We had worked out this whole thing. He's my neighbor. We worked out this whole agreement, and he's like, and I made a move that was like making it less easy for him to get 3 empties, but he's like, it's okay. Like, I'm just going to go over here. And then boom, Mirage pops out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just...
That's so disheartening.
Like, this is perfect. But you know what's crazy is that he figured out a way to still score.
Jesus Christ.
Even after having this happen. Yeah, it was like a whole thing where it's like...
Dude, he's got that Charlie Kelly vibes whenever he plays games sometimes, man.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, he just figures it out, dude. It was like a whole thing where it's like he purges enigmatic device to get predictive intelligence to take a token out of fleet. And then he begged me for a little bit of money so he could build something off of Warfare.
Yeah.
And
he whined his way to more money because he had that bad luck.
Well,
getting that plane.
Yeah, but then he also like blamed it on me a little bit. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I guess I agree with you.
I can see that. Yeah. That son of a bitch.
But no,
he played you like a goddamn fiddle.
It was one of those moments where it's like Jeff Goldblum being like, "You crazy son of a bitch, you did it." That's
the worst part about like not scoring in that way is because there comes this point where you're just like methodically planning around, you're planning your whole game, and then this throws a wrench in your plan, and you're just like, I'm fucking ruined.
And it's always with your last token.
Oh, yeah. It's never like the first explore, right? Like that deck's nice and thinned out, the odds are getting heavier. You're always a little nervous, but it's not going to happen to you, not this time.
Not this time.
Then you wake up in bed with a Mirage. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid Mega Meme Center, my man.
It's pretty solid.
Really solid. Rock solid as always. Rock solid like I am right now, quite frankly, after seeing some good memes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I believe
it. I've sent a you up text to this guy I've been talking to. His name's, I can't say your name. You don't want me to do that. Anyways.
Yes, that has been a beautiful Brassbird's Mega Meme Center. Thank you for joining us. So we are going to go ahead and talk to Andcat first, and then TacticBlue is going to wrap it up for us.
Hell yeah. Well, as always, friends, it's been a hell of a time.
Yeah.
See y'all on the other side.
See y'all. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here with the one, the only, Andcat, our good friend, the Beautiful People Club good boy, as we know him. And I was surprised to learn at some point recently that Andcat was the one who was in charge of the crab people, as I like to call them. The how do you pronounce it? The Chirin hordes?
Chiron.
Okay, all right. We're getting
they're home planet Boulder.
No, that's
God fucking
you
damn it,
fucking
Tactic. I swear
spoiled
to God.
it. I was gonna hit him with that later, dude. Okay.
Oh, dude, no.
It's gonna
This is nothing but a total shit talk bonanza from your boy here.
Yep, totally. But
Listen,
yes.
I got my sipping cream.
Oh God.
Ain't nothing but a dream around
time.
here, buddy. Ain't nothing but a dream.
It's a cream dream, is what it is.
Listen, I dream in cream. That's what I do.
Is that Ken's cream?
Yes.
Buddy, I wish.
Yeah,
Listen,
I wish.
I could talk about that all night.
Yeah.
Just say this gelato is.
He is
I can't do that joke.
He's going hard over there.
The milk's got to come from somewhere, right?
Buddy.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we are here with Andcat. It's kind of a funny situation because we literally just recorded with TacticBlue, and we're kind of doing a back-to-back situation here. But I think we're gonna have Andcat on first in the episode, but then it's like you're gonna get a bit of a weird time travel thing because we're already like really tired and kind of fucked up, honestly. Like,
yeah,
so, so it's like you're gonna get this like weird version of us, and then the slightly more coherent version of us later. But anyway, we're having Andcat on for the episode because Andcat is going to give us a more focused direction and just like a whole insight into what the process is like to in designing one of these factions. And I myself have a very soft spot in my heart for the crab people, so I'm very happy.
As you should.
Yeah, as I should. They're actually the best faction, believe it or not, as
Correct.
I have seen. And very stoked to have Andcat on here. How are you doing, my friend?
Always good. Glad to be here. How are you guys?
Good. Very good. Today was a great day for me, if I may brag about it for a second. I met up with a friend of mine, and we went over to the spot in downtown and actually locked in a rehearsal space.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, so it's going to be me and this friend, and then like 5 other people, I think, is going to be the collection, and we're all going to be splitting the rent on this place. And it's one of those where it's like, it's funny. It's like literally just like a shipping container in a warehouse type kind of situation.
That's the most Portland shit I've ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds very Portland. Yeah.
It's very
like holy
Portland.
shit, dude. How many crack needles are like outside of the shipping containers? The question.
No comment. No comment. But you know what? It's beautiful and it's
So,
ours.
wait. What
Okay.
are you rehearsing? What are you?
Oh, just like all sorts of stuff.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I mean, like, are you an actor? Are you a musician? Like,
Oh,
what do you
music mostly. Yeah. So
okay,
it's,
what do you
I mean,
play?
it's like I'm going to be using it for music stuff, and like that is kind of, but it's really going to be like an all-purpose space. Like it's also just going to be a space where we're just going to go and drink beers in the middle of the night. Is just,
So it's like it's like the Portland hipster version of King of the Hill.
Yeah, something like that.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But
That sounds super tight.
No, I'm really stoked about it. And it's like I love this space that I have and everything, but it's really hard to get any like creative work done here because I got the fucking cats crawling all over me.
I was gonna say, who's that? Is that Velcro behind you?
That is Nina up in her little perch. Yeah, no, Velcro is just over there on the other perch, like just chilling. But yeah, it's only a matter of time before they're going to be coming like crawling all over me like they do, But yeah, so it's been a good day for me, man. It's been a good day for me. Andcat, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, my dude?
Yeah.
Geez, I like long walks on the beach and
love it.
holding hands. And,
Candlelit dinners in the park.
what was that?
The candlelit dinners in the park.
Yeah, exactly.
That's honestly, dude. What you doing tonight? What you doing tomorrow? I mean, it's Friday. My plans got canceled. I'm a little free.
Hell yeah, I'll drive
to
across the country. I can get there.
I mean, it's fine. I've done it before. Not my first fucking rodeo. Literally, first episode of this I recorded while I was out there. So,
word.
Anyways, as long as you like some Eggo.
No, so sorry. So I am from the Midwest originally. I just relocated out to the West Coast, not too far from I think where Brass is around. I I've been playing. I actually played my first game of Twilight Imperium like more years ago than I would like to admit when I was in college, and that was TI3, and it was super dope.
Nice.
And
You and Brass got a lot of common.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I think I started playing TI4 like 6 months maybe before POK came out. Like I started playing TI4, and then it was like POK is coming out. It's like, oh, this is a good time to get into it. I played a couple games like with friends in the area, and then I found out about the online thing. And then when I started working from home during the pandemic, I got to a point where I was playing like sometimes 5-6 games online a week.
Wow.
So
hell yeah.
And like about a dozen games into POK, someone like introduced me to Franken, and I think my first Franken game was legit with J-Maul and Olo. I don't know if you know either of those, but both of them are like extremely good players, and Olo's reputation is like he will eat you. Like all of the players that are like I will eat you are like pale in comparison to Olo.
Sure.
He's just like he's like the fucking Terminator. He'll like walk into your home system and be like, yeah, sorry, this is mine now. And he's like, can I pay you? And he's like, nah. Like, no, like this is happening. Like, he's chill about it, but he's like, it will just happen.
Yeah, and it was all downhill from there.
Exactly.
All downhill.
And like 1,500 hours on TTS later, here we are.
No, exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then as far as how I got into shit with Tactic, I ended up like he launched DS for like public beta whenever that was, like sometime in 2021. And I think I played like one of the first like beta DS games on TTS. That was a lot of fun. And I ended up, I've been doing graphic design for like 20 some years, not professionally, but just when I was a kid, I was actually I was a fucking moderator on an admin for several RuneScape fan sites.
Hell yeah, dude!
Nice.
Like legitimately like 20 plus years ago when I was like 12. So yeah, I've been doing graphic design since then. Like I cut my teeth on graphic design doing like forum signatures for RuneScape forums.
Oh, yeah. That's cool as hell, man.
That's really cool, man.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask really quick. So I think it was just like last weekend that the Zulus tournament happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were there. Can you tell us about how that was?
Oh man, you should come up for the next one and like do a video for it.
I would love to.
Because that would be like so sick. And I mean, it's like what, like a 12-hour drive for you? So.
Well, not even. It's
like 3
hours.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
it's like 3 hours exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I might take the train. Is kind of my new thing. The
Amtrak.
Fuck
yeah,
dude.
Public transit, dude.
Oh, taking the Amtrak up there is so chill. It's so
and like
chill.
It's just such a cool area. Like
definitely.
But yeah, so Zulus is super cool. I actually like I just moved out to the area, like I said, from the Midwest, like about a year ago, and they like just started about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually heard about it through Elspeth, who's another beautiful people, and it's super cool. The last one I was at in August, they had, I think they ended up with 5 tables. And then this year they sold 48 tickets and ended up with 7 tables.
Wow.
So
Nice.
It's like a full like 42 people in the basement of this like gaming store playing TI4. Super cool.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures, and honestly, I had like kind of planned to do it, but then I had like some personal stuff going on. It was like just on the cusp of like, I don't know if it's going to work out, but it was so close to doing it. Honestly, like I was coordinating with JJ, and I was like so close to just like booking the Airbnb and then telling JJ like, I'm going to be there. And then I was talking to Quantum as well, and I was like, okay, like I was so close to doing
Quantum was at my table the last tournament. He's super cool. He was my neighbor. Actually, that's really funny. Now that I think about it, both my last tournament and this tournament, my neighbor to my right was Argent, and I ended up support swapping with them both times.
Oh, interesting.
That's funny.
So first time was Quantum. Last time was this guy, local guy named Jeremy, who's super dope.
Quantum actually had the maiden voyage of the sipping cream with me.
Oh man!
By the way,
you guys are Cream Brothers now.
Yeah. We are. Yep, we are the cream team, if you will.
Oh man!
It sounds
it's the cream
so bad.
dream team.
It sounds so bad when you say it that way. Honestly, Andcat, like I can say pretty convincingly that the next time, like I will make it out. You know, like I'll figure it out next time. Because the thing is that I got family up there, you know, so it's like coming up to Seattle is not like
Elspeth and I are here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like my family is like either south of there or further north of there, but like Seattle is just like the perfect like in between, like either way, you know. And I've like
like I don't know, Bremerton is dope too because it's just like a ferry right away. So
totally, I love taking the ferry, dude. Like honestly,
it's so fucking dope. Washington has the biggest ferry system in the country, which is so cool.
Yes, I mean, like, it feels like, I don't know, like, and this is me just, like, being an ignorant Pacific Northwesterner, but I feel like maybe it's the only ferry system. Like, how many other fucking states have, like, ferries, you know?
Michigan and New York, personally.
I was going to say New York for sure does.
Okay.
Michigan probably
Michigan
does.
has them out to, Mackinac Island.
Because the fucking...
hell yeah, Mackinac Island, high five. Good fudge over there to go with your cream. I think some places on the eastern seaboard, like South Carolina, like the Carolinas, out in the like weird little peninsulas and shit they have out there, Chesapeake Bay and shit.
That makes sense. But yeah, one of my favorite parts about Washington, honestly, San Juan Islands.
I haven't been out there yet. I really need to.
It's so awesome, dude. It's so awesome. It's just like so beautiful. It's like honestly, like as far as like the natural beauty of Washington State, for me, it's all about the San Juan Islands. You know, like I could see myself retiring like on an island in the San Juans where like fucking Guimas Island like doesn't have any electricity. Like at all. It's just like the most like fucking rustic ass shit.
What was the name of the island again?
Guimas.
Yeah, it was
Guimas. It's like spelled weird.
You creaming on your Guimas?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like Guimes or like some shit like that. But yeah, it's just
I'm
like
so glad I'm not on video right now. I'm dying.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like rustic ass shit, and I could just totally see myself being this like old man that's like falling apart, but I'm just like living
hanging out. You can't find your Guimas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to find your Guimas when you're creaming it, you know.
But yeah, dude, I miss it.
What are we talking about again?
We're talking about fucking San Juan Islands, man. Is what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Totally.
Hey, you know what the area is pretty famous for?
Mm-hmm.
Shellfish.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Yeah, like
gooey ducks.
It's a great place to harvest crabs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Frox, have you ever heard of gooey ducks? You know what a gooey duck?
Can you get those on Guimas?
Probably. Honestly, probably.
Like, hold on. Like my ducks aren't very gooey right now. Though.
No, you okay? Frox, look
Guimas,
this up.
Gooey ducks and cream.
Frox, look this up really quick. GEO.
You don't want to see what these look like.
You do want to see what these look like.
No.
GEO duck.
They're so bad.
GEO duck.
GEO. Is it one word?
It's one word.
It looks like it's Geoduck, but it's
Geoduck, but it's pronounced gooey.
Oh, man.
Oh, I told you, man. I fucking told you. Look at that. Is that not the most phallic fucking thing that you've ever seen in your life?
That's like literally every fucking phallic availability possible. 168-year lifespan?
Yes.
They're big, too. They're real big.
The video of eating a Geoduck is this lady, rubbing it.
No.
Oh, this is so ridiculous.
Isn't it insane? Isn't it absolutely insane?
Terrible.
Why am I saving this tab right now? Anyways.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Where can we find these so I can avoid them?
Welcome to Washington State, the beautiful Pacific Northwest.
We have dick clams.
We have dick clams is what we have.
Dick clam.
So, Andcat, just go ahead and take me through it. Take me all the way back to the beginning of what was the genesis point for this faction here.
I'm trying to remember when Tactic came out with the. Sorry, I'm just gonna search for a second here to find out when Tactic first released DS.
Mm-hmm.
So were the crab people not part of the initial release? Are they one of the
initial?
Oh
yeah, that's a good thing to note. Initially, when DS came out, there were only 24 factions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, it looks like February is when he released the original 24. Or
February of this year, 2023.
2021. So
okay.
So this was the original release of Discordant Stars. These 24 factions that TacticBlue came out with, officially July-ish of 2021. So it's 2 years and 6 months ish now. And so I was playing games on TTS with these guys. The top Krask, these guys were my favorite because I like their vibe. But they're super fighty, and I'm not a fighty player, so I played seven. I played 7 games in a row with them and lost every one under 5 VP. So I basically haven't played them again.
Choco's saying hi.
Oh, buddy.
Hey, Choco.
Little Choco, bud.
Oh. He is a good boy.
You thought it was a sweater, but it's me, Choco.
So hold on though. So you love the Latok Krask, but you don't love their home system name.
Okay. So the Latok Krask's home system name is BOHL-DUR, something like that.
Yeah, Boulder.
It's funny because they're rocks and their home system is Boulder. Yeah, I've been petitioning Tactic for 2.5 years to change their home system name.
Why that wonderful name? I mean, honestly, if I made that joke, I'd have to check if my sin brother was pregnant because it's such a dad joke. You know what I mean?
Absolutely terrible.
Great joke.
The Cairo home system, it was originally fucking Splat or some bullshit like that. Just a monosyllabic goop word because they're toxic or some shit.
Sure.
And I convinced him to change it to Avicenna, which is what it is now. So my point is that Avicenna was a polymath who's credited as the father of modern medicine.
Okay. Yeah.
My point is that we could be more sophisticated with our memes.
Yeah, exactly. But a
little creamier,
we can put some more cream in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
I get that.
We can beat a little more butter into the cream.
Oh my god! Hey, puppy.
Wow.
So I was playing these guys. I apologize for this video. It's me spinning this thing around. I was playing these guys and losing horribly. I also played the Olradin. These guys are super fun, and I think these are probably my current favorite to play. But anyway, so the origin of the crabs is I wanted to do a faction, and I don't remember whether the mechanical idea or the crab idea came first, but crabs are kind of hilarious and weird. And I don't know if you know the Magic card. I don't know if either of you guys play Magic the Gathering, but
not a lot.
There's this card called Armored Cancrix, which is just like here. Let me pull it in here. It's just like a really shitty card.
But it's a crab.
It's a giant crab. Like the art is like dope as fuck. It's like, look at this giant crab. But it's cool, like 5 cost, which is pretty high for like a 2/5 that does nothing. Which if you don't know much about Magic, it's just like a really shitty card.
Sure.
Imagine like Sardock, but like worse in card.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
So anyway, like when I was younger and I played Magic for like a minute, I thought this card was funny, and for a minute I had a plan to like get like hundreds of them and make a set of chainmail out of like this shitty card. But, so anyway, that was part of the crab thing, and then also like, the Crab People episode from South Park, which like South Park is neither here nor there, but like the crab people are funny.
Oh yeah.
So that was like kind of where the crab thing came from. And then as far as like the mechanics, I'm like not a fighty player, and I feel like one of the things that happens to me a lot is that the fighty players end up coming in and just like taking over my slice. And I saw Barony as like a faction that focused on fleets. So I wanted to do a kind of fleet faction, but from a different angle. And so my idea was to like sort of like when crabs have like a biomass like swarm event where there's just like these huge carpets of crabs on the seafloor. I wanted to make a faction that like had such good plastic fix that they basically like couldn't be eliminated. Word. So like this was like the original draft of the faction, and like the original idea was that every time one of their ships was destroyed, it would sort of go down into the next smallest one, sort of like a Russian nesting doll.
Yes.
So the idea was originally if your dreadnought gets destroyed, it like pops a cruiser. If the cruiser gets destroyed, it pops a Schroeder. Schroeder pops a fighter.
Yeah.
So that was like the original draft of the faction. You can see, and also that plus they get extra dreadnoughts. That was like the two mechanical ideas that it started with. So I posted that. You can actually go back on the TI4 Discord and see my like first post and like, hey, check out this crab faction. And TacticBlue, I had been working with him a little bit, doing some like minor graphic design stuff for DS. So he looked through it and basically like fixed it up and told me like one of the things I had on the original draft is that the dreadnoughts, the special thing about the dreadnoughts is they only cost 3 resources instead of 4. And Tactic basically convinced me that the entire economy of the game is based around the base unit cost of the ships.
Makes sense.
And also the whole idea of molt like cascading down endlessly is pretty busted. Because it you know, like a flagship would have like 10 HP or whatever 5 HP. A lot. Too many. So that was this was the first draft, and then Tactic kind of fixed it up and gave me some suggestions. His big initial suggestion was like this should be a faction that's focused around structures. And so that's where that like focus came from. And so like I took his like updated version that he helped me with, and then I've been doing graphic design forever, so I just imported, you can go and get all of the faction templates that they were using for DS, and I pulled them into Photoshop, and started like a draft there. So this is like the original faction sheet draft.
Yeah.
So you can see here now I have a name which obviously was changed from Tactics. This was the bolder version of the name.
By the way, you got mad at Boulder. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you made this?
No, this was Tactic's idea. And
hypocrite in the chat right now.
If Tactic would had his way, it would still have that name, but I changed it.
What a troll.
So you can see now.
It'd probably still be this, quite frankly.
If what?
If I had my way, it'd still be this, quite frankly. So
I'm sorry, not all ideas are the cream, but the cream does rise to the crop to the top.
Well,
Yeah. Of course,
okay,
of course.
Macho Man.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Cream always rises to the top.
Oh my god, dude.
So you can see now we have like a faction icon, and like this is just like art that I pulled from the internet. And you can see I have like, instead of just additional dreadnoughts, I have the original draft was like,
it was tokens.
These are tokens or whatever. They're like a fighter token. It's all this complicated shit. And Tactic is like, no, just like make them dreadnoughts. Like they don't have to be like all this complicated extra rules. And then Molt, instead of like the dreadnoughts cascading down or whatever, now it's anytime a ship is destroyed, if you win the combat, you capture your ships and then you can put one in the system at the end. So that was like the first kind of working version of that ability. And then you can see the flagship like has not changed since this version. It's still exactly what it was, and it still has that structure focus. And then the dreadnought has also not changed. So instead of a lower cost, it just has like an extra kind of Molt ability baked in.
Yeah.
So this is where we were there, and I don't know if I playtested it at this point. I might have playtested it like once at this point. And then I wish I had this whole faction sheet, but I decided to try a different kind of direction with the art. This is the point where I started playtesting, and one of the kind of major revisions that was made at this point. So this the agent was like the original idea of the agent was signal jamming on a stick. So like I don't know if Tactic kind of talked about sort of the balance target for agents, but
not really, no.
So maybe to kind of take an aside, so once this had released and Tactic kind of helping me fix these up, there were a few other players who had been kind of working and playing a lot of DS games who had faction ideas. And then Tactic also had a few more faction ideas. So he started putting together this pack of 10 extra factions. And he asked me if I wanted to include the crabs in it. And that's when I sort of started working more closely with him. And I ended up helping with a lot of the components on the 10 extra factions. Like Lanafir and Gledge and Nokar. I think I did the components for those. And that was also the first time that we started using like the AI like algorithmic images stuff. Was like Lanafir was like one of the first ones where we realized that it was sort of a workable alternative. Anyway, so I was helping with sort of the development of the plus 10 factions, and one of the balance targets for agents is that they should have a power level of about equal to an action card. So if you're ever like homebrewing a faction and you need like an agent effect, a good way to do it is to look through the action cards and be like, oh, this would be cool to have as a repeatable action card.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Interesting.
So like, maybe I have a faction that like shoots homing missiles, and so like I have exhaust this card and like remove all the PBS on a planet or something.
Okay.
But then you look at that and you're like, oh, that's pretty powerful. Like, should you add a cost to that? Like, maybe it should like cost money to blow up someone's PBS, or like if we change that and we made it like the reactor meltdown. Like if you had an exhaustible like reactor meltdown on a stick, like that would be really powerful. So you'd have to figure out some way to balance that or whatever.
Well, I like where you got with it, because what it is now is that it's almost like a warfare primary thing, but it's like, because the thing is that an agent also has to be sellable, so it's something that you could use for yourself.
Exactly.
Like you could get a good use out of it, and maybe most of the time you're going to be using it for yourself, but it's something that's also useful to someone else. So it's like, if I don't have the text in front of me like necessarily, but it's essentially like you're shifting a token from one system to another. So
here I can pull what the actual one is right now. What it is now is you exhaust the card, and that player chooses a command token that's in a system adjacent to one of their structures, and then moves that command token into a system with one of their structures. So like the classic play with it round one is like you move all your ships out or whatever, you do your warfare, like move all those ships out or whatever, and then on the last tactical action or last action, you flip the agent, and then you can move like a token from a carrier system back home, and then you can move that carrier again.
Yeah. I like it, because how many times are you really like building at home in round one? You're just like going for mass expansion round one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because there's many resources to cascade in round two, right?
Yeah. But it does, I will say the current agent, personally, I've felt like it is better early game and then late game, and then kind of in the mid game, there's not as many opportunities to use it.
Sure.
But it's a pretty powerful effect. So the original version was basically signal jamming on a stick. Like choose somebody and like put up one of their tokens there, and then that changed to place somebody else's token, or like place one of your tokens, or like remove one of your tokens. And it basically got to a point where it was like you could either use it as a signal jamming or a mini warfare, and then it's like, okay, that's like way too powerful. So we took out the like signal jamming side of it. So, but that's kind of another way that you can see how something kind of evolved from where it started to where we are now. And so sort of like to maybe take it aside about the like arc of a faction development, one of the like important things in my mind is basically having like a full first draft of like a full faction, and like basically have something that's like workable to the point that you can play with it. And then like as the faction develops or whatever, you can end up like shifting things around and moving things. The agent obviously changed totally from where it was. And like the agent is sort of balanced around an action card level. The commanders are a little bit hard to balance, at least in my opinion. Those power levels, we usually try to shoot around like a legendary planet ability, but they can also be kind of balanced around like a single faction ability, because a commander is basically an unlockable extra faction ability.
Yeah.
But in terms of like balancing the overall like faction itself, there were factions in the +10 that we ended up like shifting a faction ability to a commander, or a commander ability to a faction, or like some mech abilities could be a faction ability instead, or like instead of a faction having a unique unit, you can put ability text on the unit itself, or you can give it a faction ability that's like your X units do Y. So there's a lot of different kind of ways that you can shift things around in a faction to like differ the power level, and if you put you know, like just as like a crazy example, if they wanted to, they could change Sardock around and like put the commander as a faction ability. And then now, like, you no longer have to unlock that ability.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which would... So there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of balance the overall faction and et cetera.
Yeah, they'll totally change the balance of it. And I can see how there's like a lot of different versions and a lot of different like ways to go about that, where you're like shifting it and seeing like, does this feel more natural as a faction ability versus a commander, where it's like you're going to sell your alliance to someone else? Does this make sense as something that would be attached to your alliance promissory note? Or
and or like with the techs, one of the design notes for tech, and actually Tactic has a really great faction template that he has out there. I can give you a link that you can share.
Oh, that's cool.
And it has a bunch of his like design notes on it. So one of the things that you want to do with tech, for instance, is make sure it's something that Necro can steal.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, Custodia Vigila makes Necro really sad because he can't steal it.
That's why Calaris is not a real faction. You heard me, Dane. You fucking heard me.
Was that when did Tactic have that conversation with you guys?
No, that's just me saying that shit. No, but Tactic did want us to troll you and say that he doesn't like the crab people.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's wrong, and also he knows that he's wrong. He told me. He told me from the start. So like, one of the things that's interesting is we can see like how we've toned them down. So this was like the first playable version, and so the agent was changing around here. One thing I wanted to note there was like one of the first times I play tested the agent. It doesn't have. It didn't have the like none of their command tokens part on it. And that was something that somebody in that game was like, "Yo, like you shouldn't be able to just double up your CCs like that."
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then so this was like kind of the first like release into DS version. And so you can see. Already we've changed instead of 3 Dreadnoughts, it's a mech or a Dreadnought, because now their mechs are structures, so it kind of gives more opportunities for their flagship to proc or their agent to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then instead of Molt like just giving you like a free version of whatever you did, you actually have to produce it. Oh no, sorry. This was a place there now.
But it's like you have to win the space combat. Like it has to be an active thing. Like
and
rather
there's
than
cost.
just like any.
So this one there wasn't a cost, but then if we look at the next version, which this is the current version. But you can see, I can talk a little bit about the art development in a minute, but you can see now it's after you win a space combat as the defender, and then you have to produce the ship. So that's
okay.
Tactic originally was like, these guys are really good, and like people are going to use them offensively. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then like we've got a lot of feedback. It's like, yeah, these guys are really too good. So we had to. You can only molt if you were defending, and it's a produce. You can't just place. And then the mech ability, the Bissus ability. We had to change that to
not count for objectives.
You control. No, it has to be. So that was always not counting as objectives because I knew that would. But we had to make it mechs on planets you control because I found out that people were using it for offensive Magian procs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because if it's not a planet you control, you could just land a mech and you get a Magian hit. And I was like,
yeah.
That's OP.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, like, I would love to see Magian actually get play or whatever, but I can see that being a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's no even a rules argument without the phrasing that you have.
The other thing that Tactic said to like troll you about is that there's some secret hidden Easter egg art on the faction sheet or something for the crab people.
Yeah, kind of. So so this is like the current art we did or whatever. So this was like the original art here. And I don't know if you noticed the difference yet, but if I take a crab emoji and then resize it and then duplicate it and then deep fry the image a little bit, you can see there's these are little crab emojis here.
Oh, okay. It's an emoji thing. I see. That's cute. I mean, it just makes sense because it's crabs on crabs on crabs.
Exactly.
And that's just the way that the faction works.
Exactly. I actually wrote the lore for them too, so that was a lot of fun. I helped write some of the lore for the other factions as well, because we did the lore like after. We didn't do the lore until the run up to the print run, so that came like a year and a half later.
Sure.
But that was Cac Octopus did a lot of the work on that with Tactic. So.
Wow, incredible. Yeah, I gotta say, I just like them. There's just something that I really like about them, and I really enjoy how you said earlier. Like, oh yeah, so it's almost like a Russian nesting doll kind of thing. But yeah, because I fucking caught on to that like so early on. Like, so Frox was in the original group that we had this async game where we're doing all this stuff, and he just like had last pick, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna play these. Well, he had no idea like what to do or what to choose, and I was like, dude, it's obvious. Just play these crab people. It seems fun. And then I read into the faction abilities, and I was talking with him about it, and I said like, dude, it's the Russian nesting doll faction. Like your shit just like poops out more shit. You're just pooping out smaller crabs.
Tactic calls it the clown car effect, which is also funny. So which is like sort of true, but yeah, and that was basically the idea. Is that it's like they're really hard to kill, and I've played with them. Obviously, played with them a number of times, and I've won several games with them. But it's even with their hero, it's like kind of a struggle to get all 7 dreadnoughts out sometimes.
Oh sure.
So it's like even stuff that like looks really good on paper may be hard to accomplish in game. But yeah, it's when you get all your dreadnoughts out and you have all your plastic out, and then like someone activates you, and like you take hits on dreadnoughts, and then you pop your dreadnought and pop a fighter, and then like use broodpod to pop one of your mechs into another dreadnought, and it's really hard to actually like take over their shit once they've got set up.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, like it makes sense how it's really hard to like really overwhelm them, because think of like a quote unquote like a regular game of Twilight Imperium. Like it'll happen so often where people are just like building up for the first 3 or 4 rounds of the game, and then maybe like mid to late round 4 and then round 5 is when these combats are actually happening. And, maybe like a given person only gets into like 2 or 3 significant combats in the game. Like maybe there's like a handful of skirmishes, and then you have like 2 or 3 like actually big combats. So if you have a faction like this where they only get into a couple of combats like that, then it's like you still have so much plastic that's left over from the whole thing. Like it just makes sense to me in that way, where it's like if you're actually going to knock these guys down, then you're like having to do like 5 or 6 significant combats against them to like actually knock them down.
Right. And it's another faction like Arborek where you really like if you want to like stop them and like stop them from being overwhelming late game, you really need to like hit them once or twice early game.
Yeah.
You know, before they can get a bunch of dreadnoughts out, before they can get a bunch of mechs everywhere. And the fact that they like have more in their reinforcements just means that you're usually expecting 5 dreadnoughts, and it's like, oh no, they have 2 more at home. But yeah, if you take out their forward dock early game, then they can't like because their hero is the other big plastic fix that they have.
Yeah,
which,
let's show show the hero definitely.
So this is another one we can look at the evolution of. The original one was basically everywhere that you have a ship, you can put another ship there. But then at some point, I think that like there's another faction in DS that has a pretty similar hero. So Tactic was like, no, that's out. Like, come up with something different. And so like basically, I was like, why don't they just get their starting fleet back? Which is like. It ends up like kind of sounding complicated, but in play it's like really easy. You're just like, oh, here's my starting fleet, and I just like throw it into my like controlled area.
Just place them around here and there and whatnot.
Or like, because it's really good. Like you can use it to recover from a sustained attack. Like you could be almost eliminated, and you're like, no, I'm good to go. I can restart. Or you can be like really shitty with it and like take over someone's like forward attack and then like fleet log into your hero and you're like, I have a huge fucking fleet here now. You shit.
Yeah. I mean I love it, and I feel like it's great to see the evolution, and I feel like it's at a good place where it's like just so much more elegant, so much more clean the way it is right now.
And that's one of like the big like things that I've learned in my now a couple of decades of doing just design shit in general is that one of the keys of good design is just like iterating, like test it and iterate it, and like because like every time that you like do the next version of it or whatever, it's going to be that much more like clean and like, polished.
Yeah, absolutely. Iterate. Keep on designing, keep on making drafts. I mean, that's something that I got to keep in mind just for like creative stuff in general, because I don't know what it is like, but I just get so like worked up about like, oh, but I thought of it and it's like this, and I don't know, you just get so married to the idea as it was originally, and like you can't get too caught up on that stuff. You can't get
I was gonna say the advice I like in that area is that perfect is the enemy of good, and like
perfect is the enemy of good.
That like if you are like too focused on like the perfect version of it or whatever, like you're never actually gonna get there. And then like get a draft out and like get it play testable, and then like start play testing it, and like the other thing is, like, I think one of the things that if I had a pet peeve about, like, other people who engage in the homebrew community, it's that they put out stuff that, we were talking about this beforehand, but, like, all of tactic stuff is just, like, really, really good, and really well thought through, and, like, input is, like, other people's input is taken into account, and, like, it's written according to the rules. Everything in DS is like rules text from another component or another existing faction.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people will put stuff out into the homebrew community that's just like really thrown together and like doesn't use actual rules text, and then like people are like put feedback on it. It's like this is really unbalanced and like doesn't use the actual rules text and stuff. And then people like just totally ignore that feedback, and then like want people to play it and test it. Yeah. And it's like if you put out an agent that's like better than Zayu, and everyone is like, hey dude, like this agent is better than Zayu. Like no one's gonna want to play with this.
No,
like,
totally.
And so like Oh no, go ahead. Am I rambling too much?
No, you're good. I was just going to say that like I empathize with that kind of frustration where it's like you're coming into this whole discussion and you're putting something out there and you want us to take it seriously and want to take you seriously, but it's obvious that you're not taking the process seriously. And especially in terms of like, at least get the language of the component to be consistent with the other components of its ilk, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That seems like the bare minimum of like homebrew, you know?
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I think is the barrier to like homebrew, and this maybe is kind of a tautology, but like buy-in is the most important thing, because if people like aren't bought into the concept of your homebrew, like if they don't think it's worth playing, then like they're not going to play with it.
Sure.
So if you put stuff out there that's like, you know, slapdash and like inconsiderate of balance or other people's feedback, then like you're probably not going to get people to play with it.
It makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
We had this like DS existed out there right since like July of 2021, and then Sigma, who is around the SCPT server. He's also one of the people, I think, I don't know if he helps run it, but he's big on the Cool Guys Hangout, which is the Aussie server. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to put a group buy together of all of the DS stuff, because he runs an Etsy shop where he like prints like Kellerite stuff.
He's the man. Love Sigma.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, we're going to put this group buy together, like get us all these components and stuff, and then a couple people on the Homebrew Hub were like, hey, why don't we just like redo all of the art for the whole pack with like the same stuff we did for like Lanafir and stuff.
Yeah.
Because some of the old art was a little bit sketch.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Sourced from wherever. So that turned into like a whole like 6-month like pretty exhaustive process of basically redoing like every single component in DS that has any kind of leader art on it. So that was pretty wild.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can imagine that it was a long process, because you're like already have all these factions set up, already have all of this art that's, you know, like chosen. And then when it's time for the prime time, you're like, oh, I don't necessarily know if I want to print this, you know? Don't necessarily.
Well, and most of the art like predates my involvement with the pack, so that was like Tactic, and so like I'm sure Tactic kind of explained the origin of DS, how it was a bunch of different people that came together. Yeah, so most of those people did their own like faction components, so a lot of the like original like GIMP files of like the faction sheets and stuff like don't even exist anymore, really.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I think y'all did a bang up job with it, you know. Like I don't have a physical copy myself, but I've seen plenty of the images. Excuse me. And
yeah, it's super dope. I
it looks great.
I played with somebody from the area has one, so I played with it a few times. It's pretty awesome. It's
wow.
There's something different about like having the physical components in your hand. I mean, it feels just like regular TI.
Totally.
But like with extra shit. So.
Yeah.
Some people may disagree, and there's like some fundamental differences in design, but for the most part, I think it integrates almost seamlessly.
Yeah. No, I think it was I mean, just like I said to Tactic, it's a Titanic level achievement that you all pulled off, and it's incredible that it's like, I don't know, dude. There's just something about this stupid fucking game that like. I don't know what it is about it that inspires people to pour their blood, sweat, and tears into it to that level where, like, you know, people are just like putting in so many hours of work, like just finally crafting this stuff and wanting to put their own mark on it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's just like a testament to like the original game designers that they were able to create like such a huge thing that has so much room for exploration.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, like there are so many other games that feel so closed off, and like it feels like there's basically no closed doors in TI.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool. Like I think that's one of the things that makes it so compelling is like, for the most part, if you want to do something in TI, the game is like, yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Like you want to like trade relic fragments, cool. Like, you want to like eat somebody, like go beat them up.
Yeah. You want to do some like ridiculous non-binding situation or whatever, like.
Yeah. You just want to be friends and like print money and like tell everybody else to go fuck off. Like,
totally.
Like there's just so many ways that you can play the game. Like there's no correct answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this thing in this async game right now where it's like this guy. So this guy, like my leftmost neighbor, is doing this thing where he was like gonna extort me for my home system. He's like, okay, like, so I'm playing Nazroka. He's like, okay, give me black market forgery and I won't take your home system. And then I noticed he had like a lot of relic fragments actually. So then I told him, oh, I'll give you 2 uses of black market forgery if you come into my home system and then take Roka where it doesn't have the dock, because obviously I have fucking become a martyr.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so I was like, okay, do that and then use your dark energy tap to retreat into the empty system when I come back in to take it in the same round.
Yep.
And then he's just like, yeah, sure, let's do it, you know? Like it's the stupidest non-binding. But that's
like one of the reasons I like the crabs, and one of the things I tried to design into them was like interactivity and like flexibility. Like their agent, you can do all kinds of like weird, dumb bullshit with.
I love the agent. I really do.
Yeah.
I can see the flexibility there and see like the creative play that you can get going on with that.
And that's like my whole thing is like I tell people a lot of times that like I don't really play to win, and like my win rate will reflect that. I'm just there mostly for memes, and
I love it.
Like if I can do some like dumb bullshit in the game, I don't really care if I win. So
word. Well, I respect the hell out of that, man. I think we're at a good spot right now to wrap up, and I think talking about playing for the memes is just obviously like a great place to be. Is there any closing thoughts that you want to give us? Are there any shout outs that you want to shout out while you're here? I'll just give you the floor for whatever you want to do here right now.
I mean, just shout out to like everybody who like plays TI and is chill. It's a fun game, and like I've met a lot of really cool people. So it's a super cool thing, and yeah, shout out to everybody who is chill and also into memes.
Dig that. Yeah. I had such a great time hanging with you, and I can speak for Frock saying the same thing. Had
Likewise,
such a great time.
always.
Thanks for being
always.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
I was gonna make another Cream Dream reference.
Yeah. Well, he's not here, so go ahead and hold on to that.
We'll save some cream for him.
We'll save that for him. But thanks for being a beautiful person. Thanks for hanging out. And I think this has just been a wonderful conversation, and I'm excited to throw this all together and just share this ultimate passion project that you all have worked on with the larger community. I'm just so excited for this, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm especially excited for more people to hear about like how much of himself Tactic put into the pack, because I think that he's like totally an unsung hero of the TI community, and that's partially like by his choice because he doesn't like to talk himself up. But he's like, I keep telling him that he should join the tournament because like he's gonna get to that final table if he does.
Oh, totally. Well, I will help you in pressuring him.
Excellent.
Yeah, we will. But he's got a month left. And he can play.
He can pack in, yeah.
He
He's
can play
not busy, I'm sure.
as many games as he wants to play here in December. He can do that. So we'll tell him to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Tight. Andcat, thank you so much. You're lovely. Yeah. You're beautiful, and we will talk to you soon. All right. All right, what's up, everyone? Hello. We are here with none other than TacticBlue, my new friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a nice, cozy December day.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is.
I'm also joined by Frox, of course. Can you show off your sweater? I think we really need to have a showcase.
You know, you were expecting a Christmas sweater, but it was me, Dio.
It was me, Dio.
Like,
Okay,
oh,
so
man.
can you explain to me who the fuck that is actually? Because I'm ignoramus,
there is an anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and he is the primary villain in it, and he's a bit of an asshole. And they were expecting things, but turns out it was him whole time. It's a great show. Probably, and I'm saying this for all of our listeners out there, it's probably the gayest anime I've ever seen, and I say that very lovingly. Yeah. That gayest thing I've ever seen. Just big buff dudes going at it nonstop.
Of course.
And it's just everything I've ever wanted out of a show, quite frankly. And saw this sweater, imported it from the illustrious land in the far east of China.
Of course.
And here we are.
The only exposure I've ever had to JoJo is the GIFs. And I got to say, 10 out of 10. The quality of the GIFs coming from that anime. So,
oh, yeah, for sure. He's the villain, I think, in seasons 1 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are probably my favorite seasons for dye my hair just to look like him, quite frankly.
Dig that.
Yeah. I'll say I think JoJo is like quintessential Boys Will Be Boys, the anime. Going back to your earlier point, I think there's an ideal there somewhere.
Of course. Excellent. Mm-hmm. So we have TacticBlue on today because I think it's fair to say that Tactic is the lead designer of the Discordant Stars fan-made
I read his
expansion.
resume. It actually does say that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You found him on LinkedIn? Yep. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He's actually a bit of a slut on there, to be honest. I wasn't going to say anything, but I had to get that energy out there.
That's fair. Real
slutty LinkedIn page, yeah.
Excellent. So will you fess up to that, TacticBlue? Will you say that you are the slutty lead designer of Discord Stars? Will you say that?
I'll disclaim any adjectives on that, but I will take the abuse and blame of being lead designer.
That's
shot
fair.
caller sort of person on the project. I think at one point they called me editor, but most of the time they just would call me project dad.
Project dad. That's good. That's good. I actually want to steal that. Yeah. Except
I multiple project daddy.
No, that's what I was going to say. You read my mind. You read my mind. That's what I want to be called. Yeah.
Well, saving in my phone is that right now, buddy.
That's so good.
Yeah. There were very many times on the project where someone would have an idea and somebody else would be like, talk to Project Dad, make sure he approves it.
Yeah, totally.
Make sure he okays it.
Exactly.
Make sure you talk to Dad. So
wonderful. So yeah, I mean, so the whole idea today is that we just want to get as much of a snapshot as we can. I'm really interested in the history of the project, really where it came from. Where is it going, if it's going anywhere? I know that it's gotten to the point where there was a physical printing, and I know that Bradley Sigma was involved in the making and the distribution of that physical copy. And by the way, Bradley, I filled out the Google form for the second printing, and I haven't heard anything yet. Okay, so just so you know, fucking Bradley, I know you're fucking listening, okay? All right?
I'm pretty disappointed in him, honestly. Yeah. I had a lot of faith in him, and I'm not mad.
I'm not mad, but I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
what's going on here?
So really, Tactic, I just want to start at the beginning. Well, no. Where I want to start is just what's up with you, man? Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, whatever you're comfortable with sharing?
Yeah, I guess as far as things go, this is all a hobby. I do this out of a passion project sort of thing.
PP, I get that.
Yeah, so it's not like I'm not paid to do this for people that send me messages like I am. But yeah, little envious of Dane on that front, I think.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. On the whole, I am a licensed attorney in my real life. So obviously, this is very much a hobby, a side gig sort of deal. So yeah, I don't know.
Man, I will keep that in mind for when I get convicted of wire fraud or some bullshit like that.
I am not your
wire fraud.
I
am not your attorney.
Yeah.
I am
not yet. You're not.
I do wires for a living. Is why I made the wire fraud joke.
No,
by
exactly.
the way.
It was just the first thing that came to mind. You know what I mean? But no, it's, I was also tempted to make some kind of Saul Goodman joke where it's like, I'm a criminal lawyer. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm a criminal lawyer. You know, like I could have gone there as well, but you know, I decided to rip on Frox a little bit as well. You know,
as he should have met me.
Yeah,
I steer pretty far clear of anything of that sort.
Understand.
My practice would be completely different. So
totally.
I would be no help to you. You know, aspiring wire fraud.
Yeah.
Well, pretty easy to commit, man.
Oh, really?
I don't even think we can catch you. Just to be completely honest with you, more I know about the biz, but we don't have to talk about that.
Good to know that
It'd
it's
be weird.
That
My
easy.
wire fraud podcast records after this, so check me out.
Hilarious.
This isn't legal advice, but consider not making a record of anything.
Okay. No paper trail.
If I were to commit wire fraud, though, this is how I do
it. Hilarious. So, can you tell us like just your brief history with like just Twilight Imperium? Like, when did you get introduced into the game? Like, are you an old school fan, or you jump on a little early, a little later, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I came in with Twilight Imperium 4th edition.
Nice.
So I'm very new to the series compared to a lot of people who I've played with. I came in, I think, right after release, like that first holiday season after release or so. I had just sort of recently joined the board gaming hobby, so I kind of dove in head first to the deep end. I enjoyed Scythe, and it was kind of a gateway to a lot of other board games.
Oh, so like Euro style gaming. I'm actually in a Rise of Fenris campaign right now.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, we start it tomorrow. We did like a learning game for everyone who hadn't played before, but yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. I'm totally not going to do well because I'm the only one who like works all day on Fridays, so I'm going to show up exhausted, and they're all going to be like already primed and ready to go. So, yeah,
you're going to do great, sweetie.
Oh,
I believe in you.
I'm not crying right now. Sorry, it's been just a rough year. No, anyways, so
tight.
That's pretty cool, man. Outside of TI and Scythe, like any other game recommendations? Actually, it's holiday season. Maybe someone will hear something and want to go grab something.
I mean, as far as I'm looking at my board game shelf right now. I mean, the new Dune Imperium game is fantastic.
Okay,
I've heard a little bit.
Yeah, that's a fantastic game.
I know, like Jade or Clea, Kay Ruthless and Phil are all real into that game.
Yeah.
Well, and they're on the server, by the way, if you ever want someone to play with online. But anyways,
I think the most interesting design game I own is New Angeles.
Oh,
never heard of that.
Wait, is that like a Netrunner thing?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's based on the same intellectual property as the Netrunner card game. And that's like
interesting.
Yeah, it's a competitive game where you each play as Megacorps and try to squeeze as much value out of the city as possible without the government coming in and saying that corporations are bad and you can't run the city anymore.
I mean, honestly, I'd want to lose that game, but you know, I don't need to talk about that anymore.
So that's the fun part, is that it's cooperative, but it's also competitive. So you're working against each other. And then on top of that, there's someone that may be secretly a Fed who wants to throw the whole thing under the bus and get the government to take over.
Oh,
that'd be me.
interesting.
Yeah. No, every time. If I wasn't the Fed, I'd quit.
For sure.
I think that mix of managing to make a game cooperative and competitive and having the hidden trader element all at once, and like a game that's almost purely negotiation, super interesting. So it takes. I will say playing with the team of lawyers though is sometimes a strain.
Understandable. I was going to ask, like, how does this work if you're an anti-capitalist? Like, I don't know, man, but
I think you just commit to the bit.
Yeah.
You just make peace with being in
the language, man.
Totally. I mean, it makes me.
What was the name of that again? New Angeles.
New Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
It makes me think about how Monopoly was originally intended as like an anti-capitalist satire game, and then apparently nobody got the memo. Like nobody really got the memo, and they were just like, you fucking landed on Park Place and you owe me $500, you bitch. Like that's apparently that's.
I think it's like
Monopoly
almost too good of a satire game at that point.
Exactly.
Like it looped back around to like. Being what it hated the most.
I think that's called horseshoe theory, Fox. Yeah. I think that's what that's called. Yeah.
Well, I'm Googling right now. Yeah. I'm living a bit of the high life, by the way, everybody.
The champagne of beers.
I actually have flute glasses with the High Life logo on it.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous, actually. That's fucking tight. That's tight.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. I think we're good now to trying to transition more into like the meat of the segment here. Let's start talking about Discordant Stars. Let's talk about like where the hell did it come from? That's my first question.
Yeah. So I could get into like the deep lore if you want.
Oh yeah.
Behind it all.
Oh yeah. So lay it on me.
Right before, about a year before Prophecy of Kings was sort of teased and announced, I was working on factions that, going back, embarrassingly unbalanced, not refined, and I got better at that, and eventually I made a pack called the Blue Space Faction Pack that some of the older guys might remember, or older non-binary folk shouldn't, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And that pack was 17 factions. So in the base game, every combination of starting technology was covered, right? Arborec has Magen, Necrovirus is Daxiv, all the mixes were in there. So I made a carbon copy, except for Winu, Sardak, and Jolnar. I made up 3 new ones. And so I just had factions for all of those. And those were all me. By the time I got to the last one on that set of 17, people have called me on this. I kind of phoned it in. I was like, I'm just going to give them a 5 resource planet and 5 commodities, and that's going to be their faction. And
yeah.
And they're gonna have Magen, and it's going to be really fun. And it was fun for like 3 people who loved that faction. And then promptly after we had like a tiny very small tournament. I think there might be a record online of that somewhere. Promptly after a small tournament for the Blue Space Faction Pack, Prophecy of Kings started to get teased and announced. Like right after I was like, I'm done. I finally got done with this project. I'm good. Dan was like, yeah, we're going to blow up the game.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
So, yeah. So I gave it like a month, I think, from when they first teased Prophecy of Kings. And then August of that year, I talked to a few people in the community who I knew had done homebrew or were interested in doing homebrew, and basically recruited them because I realized that like if I make 17 factions again, they're all going to be 17 factions I made for me, right? Mm-hmm. So my perspective is only going to be what's presented in a faction. So if I'm building a team. So I put together a bunch of people involved, try to get different perspectives on how the game's played and what's fun for some people. There are some factions that I don't enjoy as much as other people, and
Fair.
there are people out there who adore those factions, and I would
It's
hate.
fine. You can say Sardak.
Yeah.
It's okay. This is a safe space.
Shipless Sardak has a special place in my heart, but that's not a place where I'll be playing them.
Sure. Yeah.
No, and so I think the original goal was to have like 2 factions per person. Some people did one. Jahite and Haymaker, shout out to them. I think they ended up doing 4 or 5.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay. With Jahite doing most of the mechanics and Haymaker doing a lot of the lore. I think I did a fair job of putting my name on everything that I helped with. There are the first 4, which would be Veldir, Free Systems, Lijo, and Latok Krask, the Rock Boys. Be sure to ask Andcat about their home system planet name, by the way.
Okay. Well, I'll remember to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Those were mine, like from the start, basically copy pasted to Discord and Stars. There's a bunch that I helped with. There's a bunch that I kind of took 2 factions that 2 people had made and mangled them together to make something a little bit more cohesive and streamlined.
Interesting.
And fun.
So can you ballpark for me, like kind of like how many people were involved with this whole thing?
Ballpark, I think the core group was 24 people. Total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 24 people. That's like a good crew, is what I would say. That's a good crew. That's like a lot of people to like be bouncing ideas back and forth with. Were you all based on the homebrew hub? Is that where this was all going on?
Actually, it was going on the main Twilight Imperium Discord at the time. We had a secret channel.
Oh, whoa.
Funny enough.
So TI4 online.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
like Philroy's spot?
Yeah, was Philroy involved at all in this whole process?
Yeah, Philroy was. Yeah, Philroy actually is responsible in part for the Myco Mentori and the Tenella Syndicate.
That's fucking awesome, dude. I love Phil so much. He is like he's friend of the show, such a sweet human being. Incredible. Shout out to Philroy is what I'll say.
He's an awesome guy. Yeah. So bouncing off him, I think the Tenellas are very much him. I think Myco were the product of a lot of back and forth. Where I was like, you're talking about cannibalistic mushrooms. Let's make them necromancers. And he's like, what if they were high off themselves?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's brilliant. We're going with it.
Yeah, love it.
Excuse me?
You don't know the Myco? Dude, you don't know the Myco? Dude, you're fucking... No. You're so clueless, bro. You don't know the Myco Mentori,
Have you met me?
Yeah.
Have you met me, bro? I'm literally an idiot.
Dude, get high off of these mushrooms, dog. Is what I'm fucking saying.
Two, I am that himbo demographic of TI players I've learned, apparently.
Sure.
That's my niche.
That's his niche.
So, like, explain like I'm himbo. You know what I'm saying?
So, they're necromancer mushroom people.
There's so many things that I just love in life. And I'm just now learning about this.
Yep.
They weren't an option in the draft we had for the DS game we did, I think. So I didn't know.
Yeah, DJ took them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Their lore, I think, is that they got trapped basically in a time bubble.
Oh,
and they experienced all of time. And then they got let out of that time bubble.
Wow.
And they decided to eat each other.
That's how they learn to survive, right? They're fungus, right? They're fungus. Yeah. So they eat each other and they get the memories of those they consume.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And so that's how they're able to sort of predict the future. I think it's on their lore somewhere that they don't actually predict the future; they just remember it poorly.
Yeah. So that makes sense for how their hero works.
That's why the soul cage works the way it does.
They copy another hero. You have to wait until another hero is purged, and then you purge your hero as a reaction, and then say, my hero is going to be exactly your hero.
Yeah.
Which I think is totally perfectly wonderful, and it's like the flavor is going into the mechanics in just such like a beautiful way. I wanted to bring this up where it's like hearing about the Myco lore makes me think like, oh yeah, that sounds like a plot to a Star Trek Voyager episode specifically. and I was watching Voyager the other night, and it's like it's like a rewatch for me. I watched all of Voyager like years ago. So I'm rewatching it now, and I realized that the Vidians, which they're like this kind of creepy looking people, they're called like they call themselves like the Vidian Sodality. And then I realized like, oh shit, the Cairo, that's what Jadim Jedi was playing in our game that we played. It was like, oh, they're called the Cairo Sodality, and they're like these creepy, like undead looking people or whatever. I wondered if that's like a direct connection in like the lore and everything.
If you want me to go into the Cairo, they actually started as basically a bunch of Sage was the original writer for them, author, and he basically wanted a faction of assholes. So all of their mechanics at the start, and there's the hero that I made sure was named after him, is still a reflection of this sort of just spiteful approach to playing Twilight Imperium.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I don't think if there's a connection. Sorry?
I have a new favorite faction then.
Yeah.
I'm the most spiteful TI player of all time.
A little bit. Yeah.
Their hero attaches to a strategy card and basically bricks it for the rest of the table.
Oh, it's so funny. It's literally so funny. The funny thing that we had happen in that game is that so Jadim Jedi is playing Cairo, and if you know anything about Jadim Jedi, like his whole thing is that he just like loves technology and loves double teching with the technology strategy card. So it then just like ended up where it's like the round where he's probably going to play his hero, he has the technology strategy card. So there's this dramatic tension where it's like, is he going to do it? Is he going to like ruin the technology strategy card with his hero? Like that seems so antithetical for him as a player, but then also it's like not a big deal for him because it's like, the Cairo player can use that strategy card like the way it's intended and everything is fine, but everyone else has it ruined for them. So I think I egged him on and I was like, no, it's perfect, JJ. Do it. This is perfect for you. Yeah. It's so I think Cairo is another really interesting one. I played the Vaden banking clans.
Yes.
I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed them. And in another Star Trek-esque reference, I just realized like, oh my God, these people are like the Ferengi is what they're like. You know, they're just like, they're totally just like capitalistic asshole motherfuckers. And I just kept posting like GIFs of Quark just like, you know, like hitting the gold bars together or whatever, and I'm like, pay me the fucking latinum or whatever, you know. I had a lot of fun with that game.
So I have a confession here.
Sure.
I actually am not familiar that much with Star Trek.
Oh, that's fine.
I was gonna say this before. The Cairo, that name, the Sodality, we picked that because it sounded cool.
Well, it does sound cool. So like, you're not wrong.
Honestly, that's like the best way to do anything in life. Yeah. If it sounds cool, just fucking do it. What's the worst that could happen? And that's why I teach you to crack. What? Why are we laughing?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Vaden were berserkers, so shout out to him. And that basically started from a conversation where I said, you know, debt meta?
Yeah.
I think I have a mechanic to make that an enforceable thing.
Yes.
And he was so pleased. So we built a faction around enforcing debt meta as
I mean,
on the table.
It's really cool, and I was really pleased. I mean, so like I'll just say this as just like a whole like shout out to the whole the legion of people that work on the async bot It's not just enough that they're going to work on the bot where it includes all of the Prophecy of Kings factions and action cards. Like, they're automating all the stuff. They're making all these quality of life improvements. And it's not just enough that they're going to do that. They're also going to tackle Discordant Stars, and they're going to try and integrate all of these faction abilities and make it so easy for you to dive into this fan-made expansion. So they're doing so much work. Shout out to everyone who's working on that stuff. I was really pleased to find that when I'm playing Vaden, that like I play my strategy card, and then all the stuff that happens with fine print, where like when people follow your strategy card, they give you the token on your faction sheet. All of that shit was automated. And I was like, thank fucking God. Like, because
Dude, imagine doing like in real life, though. Because, like, I don't know about you all, but, like, I am not sober when I play TIE Imperium in real life.
Me neither, dog.
So,
me neither.
Homeboy, what up?
Yeah.
So, like, imagine being like, okay, I gotta, like, keep track of, like, this, and now I gotta try this, and this, and this.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it was a whole fucking thing. So I was very glad to see that it was all automated. But that being said, I was very cognizant of this whole thing where it's like, okay, so I've got my faction ability where I'm getting these tokens on my faction sheet for this thing, and I can use these tokens to do stuff with my other stuff. But then I realized, like, but what if I actually have like actual debt meta? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, where it's like I actually play trade, and then someone's like, I can't pay you the money right away, but can I just like send you a debt or something? Like, those are actually different things. So I was having to be very conscious, and like I didn't.
Not his strength, by the way.
No. I mean, I guess not. I don't know. Like, fuck you, man. Like, what? What are you saying, dude? But no. I mean, it worked out just fine. And by the way, I didn't win that game. I did not win that game. Yeah, actually, Bam Bam took over for Frox, and then he won as the crab people. Was the funniest part of this whole fucking thing.
That tracks. That tracks.
Yeah,
crabs are absolutely juiced, so that makes sense.
They really are, and we are going to be talking to Andcat about the crabs. So we are going to do a deep dive into that whole thing. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time talking about crab people.
I do have a question to kind of focus the conversation a bit. What was like, since you're talking about balancing all of this, what's like your balancing principle? Like what like would it preach you like? Get you towards balance, you know? Like whenever you think something's unbalanced or busted, like what's your, I guess, philosophy with that?
Yeah. If it's all right, before we get there, I'm going to circle back, and I want to say I don't have enough words of praise for the async dev group. The amount of effort they've put into making DS accessible is really humbling on my end. Because we just make components, and then for them to actually script everything is wildly.
It's incredible,
impressive. Yeah,
agreed.
I also should say before I forget that the Myco Hero is probably on my short list of favorite bits of text I've ever written for Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Getting to the question at hand. One more thought. Vaden baking clans. That confusion between debt meta and actually using their faction abilities is intentional.
Sure.
It's meant to be. It's meant to sort of push players to commit to the bit of being the debt-seeking sharks, because they're quite literally sharks. Actually, their heroes named the Kula Network. Like, it's all very. They're also all named after actual Russian oligarchs. I think we just changed the letters around.
Yeah.
That's sense. Incredible.
Yeah, makes sense for sure.
Or Soviet oligarchs, I think maybe. But as far as balance goes, so I generally the joke was that the fun is an F word for me. Because in test games, especially the closed group test games, because we'd start out, basically we spend months with a draft document with people who are very experienced at TI, going and looking at it, saying, okay, this seems like it's going to be wacky. Then we had closed test groups where people would play the factions sort of in their beta form. And yeah, if something was broken mid-game, we'd be like, all right, we're going to take a vote as a table. Is it okay to finish off the game with it as that version, or can we fix it right now? And most of the time we would fix it. And that was often, a sacrifice on behalf of the player who's like, yeah, what I just found this really broken thing. Let me finish it off. It's like, come on. So it's making sure we're making an efficient use of everyone's time there was always important.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and at the end of the day, aside from some notable exceptions, as we've talked about earlier, we tried to make sure that everything was fun for everybody at the table in some way. Or if it was frustrating, then at least there was interactivity with it.
Okay.
So, if like Eden are notorious for being one of the strongest factions in the pack. They very much intentionally have these giant golden discs to tell you to go punch them, so that you go punch them before their entire kit gets online and they become the monsters that they can be. So we tried to make sure that there's some counterplay available for a lot of these things.
And the reason I ask is because, like, at least knowing what I know, like, I mean, Dane, like, I'm not calling him a friend, but like, talking about like design and stuff, and I see some things of this nature. It's like everything with him is more about thematics than necessarily pure balance. Well, and like the way he plays the game is very different than the way competitive TI is played for most of us. He plays fucking Space Risk, so we have to keep that in mind too. But like, like Arborek, the reason that they have not gotten a correction, at least to the little birdies in my ear, is because they have fans. People enjoy playing them.
Oh yeah.
Even though they're not winning. So that was why I asked that question. And like, it's really interesting. I like you, but you seem to be more in line, and correct me if I'm wrong, of like actually wanting everyone to be kind of balanced.
Yeah, I think as far as balance goes, homebrewers have a very limited budget for what players will accept. So a lot of the time we're working on stuff that's trying to be fun, but we also have to be mindful of the fact that, like, we can't get away with, cruisers with sustained damage or Zayu, right? Like the new Zayu. We can't get away with that.
Yeah, only Dane can do that, okay?
Yeah. Dane could probably get away with like destroyers with sustained damage and people would grumble about it for a little bit, but anyways, I think we have to be mindful of that a lot. Especially because I only have so much time to read through messages on Discord and feedback. So that's definitely something that comes up. As far as, we do try to err on the side of things being enjoyable for everyone, and interactivity, though. So that's definitely a big part of that. There's like the core in DS is like there are factions I do not enjoy as much as other people do. But there are, like, to name a name, like Valerian is not a faction I particularly enjoy playing. But I know that there are people out there who adore that faction. And I would hate for them to not have that faction just because it didn't fit my understanding of how the game should be played. So that was a big, that was from the start very much, very much the goal of the project, and so I'm glad it sort of shaped up the way it did.
With kind of very adult of you.
No, totally. And I'm glad that you brought up Valerian specifically, because there was a whole funny thing. It was an async game that we put together where it was like 7 of us wanted to check out Discordant Stars, and in the faction pool that we had pulled up on the site or whatever, I looked through all of them. And I saw that Valerian was in there, and I instantly fell in love with Valerian.
Yep.
And I was thinking, like, oh man, they're so cool. They're like this weird love child between Mentak and Yssaril. And I love their hero specifically is like, it's like Minister of War, but it's also got a flank speed built in there. Like, I just like loved them so much, and I picked this slice that I thought was going to be perfect for them, and then I was just waiting to be able to pick the faction, and then fucking Duval was like right before me in the order, and he literally just one pick before me picks Valerian, and I had such a visceral reaction, just like, no, how dare you, dude.
Speaking of that draft, I got Crab People as last faction.
Yeah.
No,
and then they ended up being the best.
Considering, absolutely busted. Yeah. They're just such a win more faction.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if they're in any position to win, how are you gonna fuck with them?
Exactly.
You can take out their fleet. They'll plop down. They'll just dump their plastic on the board.
They still have more. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's more crabs. Always more.
Always more crabs.
Yeah. Valerian are cool. They have that weird chess mini game too with the positioning for retreats. It's always been interesting.
That's what I love about them.
Yeah,
that's what I love about them. You know, I'm an aggressive player. You know, so like that's what really like attracted me to them is like.
Not only is he aggressive, by the way, he's paranoid too. It's a great combo.
It's wonderful.
Really goes well.
It's great. It's wonderable, right?
Yeah,
right?
It really doesn't make him lose sleep or send me text messages that are totally not passive aggressive. Anyways,
I have a loaded firearm and I hear voices in the walls.
Yeah, a little bit.
I actually know a guy. Anyways,
yeah.
No, I think, but like again, personally, like Valerian, they're one of those factions. Shipwrights are another one. I love Raptor. Shipwrights are cool. I love Raptor. I still don't know that they're quite where I would have wanted them. But again, people like there are people who are diehard Shipwrights fans, and so it's one of those where there was definitely a point where I had some, I would say, tension with Raptor about like where they should go. And them and Norwan actually were also his. And I kind of realized that if, like, any changes I would be making would possibly be risking taking away someone's favorite faction, right? Like, if I wanted to streamline some mechanic, there are people that might love that mechanic the way it is. And so, especially also because it was sort of late in the design process and we'd had a lot of people play them, it was like, you know what? I'm the person with the problem with the shipwrights. I can set that aside, and we'll let them be the labyrinth and of mechanics that they are.
Totally. Yeah, I had no idea that Raptor was the designer for Shipwrights. That's interesting. I'd love to pick his brain about that because that's one of those where I was reading. They were in the draft pool for the game, and I was reading them, and I was like, man, they're like, I can see that they're cool. But it's like I just didn't see how the pieces fit together.
Yeah, a lot of fiddly bits for sure.
Yeah. I think that also goes again to like another one of the big roles is I wrote a lot of the text for mechanics for DS. So like Raptor really wanted a faction that could sell ships. He really wanted someone to place orders and have those ships happen. And so my job was helping him work out some mechanic that fit that. Same with like Phil with Myco. It's like Phil wants them to predict the future and be kind of trippy. It's like, all right, how can we, do that? And I'll shamelessly steal from D&D 5e to make that
exactly with the portent. The Omen dice is just portent. Yeah.
I will say ability names are one of my favorite ways to interject some commentary on the design process. So Myco, no illusions. It's stolen. The name's right there.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go.
I was going to say Zellion has an ability that basically, if they ever somehow lose their home system to SAR, or if they somehow don't have anti-mass deflectors, like they will still be able to use their home system. And it was one of those like, okay, we're being paranoid. We need to just have this catch-all in case that happens, because there's going to be a game where it happens and someone's going to be upset about it. So let's make sure that they're safe, they're protected. I'm like, let's just name the ability what it is. It's paranoia. And so that ability is paranoia because that's all it is. So there's a few others like that.
I respect
throughout
that.
the pack.
I respect that. I definitely have a couple other places I want this conversation to go, and
Sure thing.
Since we're talking about factions specifically right now, I want to ask: is there one that is your darling, your baby, one that you're like, no matter what, I don't care what the fucking haters say, I love this faction always and forever, and they will always be my baby?
So I will say first off, there have been a lot of jokes from the start that this is all just a secret ploy to buff Necro and Mahawk, because I love both of those factions.
Same,
and,
by the way.
And
totally.
I love them, and so there are a lot of times where people are like, are you sure you're not just trying to set yourself up for some fun toys when you play Necro?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It makes sense.
No clue.
On this faction.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the original DS, because we added 10.
Yes.
The original 24, Veldir was very much the baby. They were actually the first faction I ever made. I wanted to make a bunch of like super... I just wanted some super corporate faction.
Sure.
So like Vaden are, the loan sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Veldir are very much the like ivory tower.
Yes.
Glass and steel. Like we're gonna run the banks and the international, finance, or the intergalactic financial system.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna steal all your trade secrets and make our own weapons better with them. And so they were very much fun. Then being able to actually that was one they transitioned really well, I think.
Yeah.
To Prophecy of Kings with the branch offices.
No,
because before that they didn't have those, and then
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Their whole suite of abilities really sing, and the whole and the idea of the branch offices, like it's just like an easy sale where it's like, so Goondok was playing Veldir, and I had read through his abilities, and I was like, initially I was like, oh man, I see what's gonna go on here. He's gonna try and foist his whole fucking attachment on my planet thing, and he's gonna get some benefits out of me having the attachment, and I'm not gonna fall for it, man. I'm not gonna fall for it. And then it came time where he made the offer, and I was like, yes, let's do it.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it on Hope's End. I'm gonna fucking do it, man.
Yep. No, Veldir love to tell people they'll make everyone rich, and then somehow they end up with twice as much money as everybody else.
Exactly.
Dude, have I clocked out today? Like, did I leave work? Hold on. I'm a little, what? Anyways.
I had a lot of fun writing their lore too. Very much like, I was like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to metaphorically drink corporate Kool-Aid, and I'm just going to go to town.
That sounds splendid.
Their lore is something else. I think Free Systems are also probably one of my favorite design factions. I worked on them a lot. They're also very old. Their mechanics, just of the rebellion, the galaxy-wide rebellion, spending planets, that's just one of the best, I think, thematic mechanic things, blends that I've come up with.
Mm-hmm. And I think that they have one of the most fun adaptations into the async bot that I've seen, where Finn did this whole thing where it's like there's images of like raccoon faces that are showing up on the planets, and it's like that's supposed to show you that it's like you can use this planet, like you can spend this planet, and then it's like when you spend it, the raccoon face goes away, so you can't use that planet anymore. But so that's just a fun little flair.
I think Free Systems are one of the better meshes of that mechanics. Again, tell Andcat that my favorite part about the rock druids is their planet system name.
Will do.
Boulder, Boulder,
Boulder.
He loves that. It's
perfect.
He hates that.
He hates
Andcat
it?
hates that.
Okay, great.
Andcat hates that.
I will lean into
because it's the player haters ball.
It's the player haters ball is what it is.
Well, it comes in flute music now, by the way. So.
I wanted to transition into asking about the logistics and just like the reality of the project, where it's like you guys actually got this printed actually have physical copies of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like so fucking cool. And
I agree.
I'm really curious as to like what that process was like. You know, like what, like how did that even fucking happen?
Yeah. A lot of this I can actually attribute to a lot of hard work from people that aren't me.
Word.
So,
no, it was all you.
Right.
Yeah. You're the one we invited on. So
Kakatopos and Andcat did a lot. Bradley, obviously, big on basically setting it all up for print. I can say that I think the Group by 2 will actually be starting in January or so.
Okay.
Is when that'll officially be a thing. So if people want to sign up to get their own personal set and ask, basically join that bulk order of components, then that'd be their chance, I think. Bradley can confirm that, and everybody should ping Bradley.
I will. Thank you very much, because I signed up for the Google form, and I haven't heard anything lately from Bradley, and I will fucking harass him. I will.
You will actually
fucking
he has a lot of free time.
I will get in those DMs and I'll say, Bradley, hook me up, or I'll fucking kill you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I think
I'm a little uncomfortable right now.
I'm calling
to be honest, maybe we think about some things that are happening, or maybe a little terroristic threatening just occurred. Just throwing that out there. That's legalese, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So. Just kidding.
Logistically, it's also been interesting because the first run, we had 84 people, like 80-ish people, I think, that signed up to get their own sets. And last I heard, again, Bradley can speak to the accuracy of those, I think there's 10 times that.
Wow.
For part 2.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna
it's one of those,
I was going to say that 84 is a good crew, but holy shit, almost 1,000 people? Fucking
well, and like the other thing, you get into the whole like tax thing with that too, because it's like income, unclaimed income, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I know he's in Australia, so, but
there's definitely a lot of we're trying to be as far as in, we're trying to have as many safeties on that as possible to make sure that no one's taking a cut that they shouldn't, or that could at all, because that's actually would be very much a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce gets all the money from our thing here. It's crazy. I've got nothing. He just keeps getting things. He does nothing to reap the benefit of my work. So I get it. Maybe we should have this conversation. Who knew?
Yeah, so logistically, that's been kind of wild to see, and again, like also just the amount of adoption. Like, there's somebody who's I'm not going to do them justice because I've forgotten their name. I'm blanking on their name at this moment. Who's working on a print and play set for just people who want to print it out at home. I know Merge has been a diehard fan since like day one, and every time there's an update, they go and print off all the new components and make it themselves in their. Yeah,
that's really.
They're all That's
That's awesome.
For real.
I'll admit I actually never got to talk about my favorite faction, but maybe I shouldn't, because it'll expose me to a lot of more balanced complaints. So.
Well, isn't that kind of part of the fun? Yet again,
maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
So my favorite child is the one on the center of the box. It's Eden. They are definitely a favorite child. I designed them specifically to prey upon the floaty everybody's friends meta, where we all benefit. They're designed to get in there, and again with Veldir, it's another reason I love Veldir, is sort of like, we'll make deals. They're 1-for-1 trades, and all of a sudden I'm 5 times as rich as you. I'm scoring points in the agenda phase. And you're drawing a secret, so that's like fair, right? And so, they, and it's funny to me. They people can go hit them. It's okay. You can go hit your neighbor when they're going to score in the agenda phase.
Yep.
You don't need to vote to let them score in the agenda phase. I got a lot of angry comments in in the design stages and in-house testing stages where I would win a game as Eden, and people would be like I just feel they would be like, saying, oh, they seem a little strong. I'm like, so the funny part about them being strong is that in this game, you guys all collectively voted for me to score in the agenda phase 5 times. So whose fault is that?
Exactly.
So you can just tell them no, right? Not to, or
no, I can't do that. Yeah, no.
The secret is too tasty. That's the whole point there.
Like they always say, you have to get permission to win in this game.
Yeah.
And I think that whole Eden thing is like probably the most direct representation of that. You're literally getting people to vote for you to get a point. And that's permission to win if I've ever fucking heard it,
That is true. Yeah.
And that goes again to like my favorite way to play the game is I'm just going to talk people into letting me win. That's the fun part of TI for me. And so, Eden very much capitalize on like, hey, we're all going to benefit. You're going to draw secrets, and I'm like maybe going to score or draw a secret. No big deal. And so yeah.
Wow.
No, that's super cool, man.
So I'm curious, is there a future for Discordant Stars in terms of are there any more factions that are lined up for the design process, or is this just kind of this was a huge project that we did and we're just going to let it sit and let it marinate and we're going to print the thing and whatever, is there anything on your mind as far as this, or is this just what it is?
Yeah. So we have the 10 factions that or we have the original 24.
We got DS Plus.
Explore all the, so we have the original 24 that explore all the new starting faction techs, because that was always our grounding, point. And then we have 10 more that explore 10 new starting tech combinations. So those will get finalized. Those will be part of Group by 2. So that's definitely one thing. We've talked about the bonus content. I'm sure the planets and action cards and relics that we've worked on. But that's kind of been on ice for now just because of time commitments and trying to make sure that everything's as polished as possible for the 10 factions. Also, having the sort of focus on factions, I think, makes them better. And then we can sort of maybe approach the other content. But as far as, I think that the system tiles, at least right now, being out there for people is fun.
Oh, it's cool. Especially on async. Yeah.
So that's fun. I don't know that that will see a lot of rapid movement or dedicated support as DS has, because DS is very much the baby. I will say I worked on with Kakatopos, worked on a Caleris rework.
Interesting.
And Drawn is a mirror of Caleris. So that's actually on the Homebrew Hub. I think he's actually made a couple posts about them. So it rebalances Caleris to be a little bit more streamlined mechanically. And then they have their counterpart. So Caleris are, they're the UN Boy Scouts, and Drawn are very much the opposite of that. They're a consortium out there trying to make a profit.
Interesting.
So there are factions that, like Necro and Mahak, wouldn't really want to go play nice with the Boy Scouts for the Galactic Council. So they have a home with the Drawn, who are more of I think they're their own beast. They're fun. That's not polished and finished yet. I would say not till Discord Stars, where we were at with that, but Kakatopos has done a fantastic job assembling all of that and making sure it all gets into playable components. I hope people jump on that and enjoy that for what it is. Andcat has been hassling me to finish off. We had 3 factions that basically came out of that scrap doc I mentioned earlier. So there's a couple there that might eventually see released by Andcat.
Okay.
So that's, he kind of took that and ran with it, because that started, we took the best ideas from the scrap doc and we're like, we're gonna make a Frankenpack. And we're like, well, we've got 3 factions worth of components here, and they definitely fit together. So let's just make factions with them, and the mechanics all made sense. So that worked out. Yeah, as far as other steps, I think as far as me, particularly, I'm kind of happy with where everything's at. Happy to sort of take a back seat and occasionally play a game.
Dig. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's a lot of work, you know, like, I mean, I really have to just take this moment to like commend you, because it's
same.
a lot of work, and you know, like, it would be cool if you were like getting paid for this, you know, like that would be tight, because for some people, not going to mention names, but it's like their whole job, their whole full-time job, and that's
I'll mention names. Yeah, that fucking Hunter Donaldson, Matt motherfuckers. Like, damn, dude. Like, that's all I'm gonna say.
I do have to say, I could not have done it without everybody listed on the the rules clarification doc. Shout out specifically to Moscow and Andcat, but also, you know, all the original. I mean, I'd like to go through them all, but yeah, I mean, Andcat, Aeronauts, Bradley, Beep Beep, Berserker, Kakatopus, Cows Go Moo, Griffey, Gwen, Haymaker, Chastity, Jahite, Jotapeg, Jujikin, Leary, Moscow, I mentioned, Philroy, Raptor, Runesage, Squiggles, Spage, and Fulvia, Vorox, Cusa, and Parker. I mean, that was the core group. Yeah. They're great. I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm not naming worked on this, who helped us out, who took one look at something and said, this needs to be different, and they were right. Like, I remember Olo completely ran over me with Rodna one game, and like my neighbor as well just went on a tear. There are a lot of people that I've forgotten to name, so they're all huge.
Wow.
Especially recently, Andcat's done a lot for component production, sort of get us over the finish line for the 10 final factions. So
attaboy.
Shout out to Andcat.
Shout out to Andcat. We were going to talk to him soon, and I can't wait to grill him about all the stuff that you were talking about.
Wait,
and
I thought we were talking shit about Andcat.
No, we are.
This is a bit of a 180 from what I was expecting in this conversation.
Don't worry.
And quite frankly, strike this from the record.
We will talk shit. Is what we will do.
Just go on and on about how you love the we'll talk crass comb system name.
Exactly.
How you think that's hilarious.
Oh, I won't forget. Yeah. Oh, I won't forget. That's actually going to be
actually all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to say another word the rest of the interview. No.
But that home system planet name, oh man, so good.
He's gonna be like waxing poetic, like talking about how much he loves his wife or girlfriend. I'm like, but really about that home system, man. Like, we got to talk about this.
No, they, there's a bunch of those sort of little nods. I think the drawn commander is named San Holo. It's definitely not. I think his lore text. Again, this is Kakatopus's thing, but his lore text is like similar to, but legally distinct from, or not, you know, they're different things. So, no, there's a lot of those little nods that keep us sane over 3 years of work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're at a pretty good point where we've covered just about everything. I do want to give this moment just to like give you a chance to shout out anything else, you know, like any other closing thoughts, any other acknowledgments that you want to give, you know, because this really is a Titanic level achievement that you've accomplished with the help of everyone else that you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, again, it takes a village.
Takes a village.
Specifically, again, shout out to Moscow and Andcat for helping get us over the finish line on the production and balance and everything. And Bradley, of course, for coordinating, so far 80 or something people, and then let alone managing to coordinate, 800 conversations with a factory is insane. So props to them. This project actually did land me a kind of side hustle. I worked with Kickstarter
cool.
for another board game.
Hell yeah.
That's actually, so I don't get paid commission, so feel free to go play it on TTS for free. It's called Fractal Beyond the Void.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fun game. Wow.
I'm happy to teach people how to play it too. It's
TacticBlue,
fun.
Fractal, hit them up.
Straight up.
So I got to help out with that. So that was kind of cool. They quite literally the conversation was, "Hey, we saw what you did with Twilight Imperium. Do you want to come like do that for us here?"
Yeah. That's really cool, man. Well, Tactic Man, excellent having you on. I don't have other words. I learned a lot, like the design philosophy, and I think if I wanted a project manager, consider having a lawyer for it. That's what I learned today.
Hey. Yes.
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, nice meeting you, man.
And it's such a great time. And despite what you say, you're my lawyer now. Okay, just fucking do it. Just deal with it.
Yeah, you're legally obligated to be our lawyer. I'll have my bank reach out to you. It'll be great. We'll love it.
Yeah. I know enough from professional responsibility that no, I'm not your attorney.
Yeah.
I will never be your attorney.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna have fun saying that. Okay, I'm gonna have my laugh.
Yeah,
okay.
let my lawyer talk to you in the morning. Okay, about being my lawyer. So.
Yeah, I guess thanks for having me on. It's been a blast. Love chatting about this. I could go on and on, I'm sure, about things if you have more questions, but I'm always around lurking on the Discord and Stars channel on the Homebrew Hub.
Tight.
For anybody who's got thoughts or feedback or anything.
Yes, I think that's the perfect place to end it, is that if you want to start a conversation or just check out the stuff more in detail, then the Homebrew Hub is the place to be. And just ping someone and just say like, hey, how can I get in on this Homebrew Hub if I'm in on it? Or I think the best resource is just Philroy. Just fucking ping Philroy and be like, hey, can you tell me everything cool that has to do with Homebrew? And then he's like gonna be the guy to tell you what's going on. Yeah, for sure.
Philroy's an angel.
He really
to the
is.
Entire community.
He really is.
Yeah.
Patron saint of online TI.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think he's your go-to guy, is what I think. Tactic, been a blast. Thank you so much for being here with us. And,
seriously, man.
Thank you. That being said, I will say now, let's chill with Brassbird. Yeah, this one is me. This one is just a ridiculous situation where in back-to-back games with more or less the same people, I had the same exact thing happen where I drew the Dead World off of Dark Energy Tap, also known very, appropriately as Dark Energy Trap, drew the Dead World into Shard of the Throne. What are the chances, right? I mean, it's great if it's your 10th point, obviously, but if it's not your 10th point, then it kind of just sucks, right? It just kind of sucks. So this left image is a meme that I made, and when it happened again in, pretty much the next game, I didn't even bother making a meme. I just felt sad about it. And I don't know, there's just something about drawing Shard early in the game that just feels like it just kind of dooms you. It definitely is like the worst relic when it comes out like that. And I don't know. Shard's just kind of poopy. That's the whole point of this one. So just, I hope you gain some kind of pleasure out of my misery.